It is live show season. It's the All New SportsCage.
We're on the road.
Live. The College of Notre Dame in Wilcox, Saskatchewan. Barney Shynkaruk, Sharky. The C's are back at the fort, keeping things buttoned up there. Thank you so much to join us for the next 3 hours, and an exciting and an interesting 3 hours. Why are we in Notre Dame? Well, it is because it is the largest female U18 AAA hockey tournament in Canada.
North America?
Mandi Schwartz Memorial Tournament is going on. Game just finished. I didn't catch the final score.
It was 3-0.
Weyburn lost. Weyburn lost?
Yeah, Weyburn lost.
Weyburn lost to Calgary, unfortunately.
Calgary fired.
3-0. Home team Notre Dame. 5-3 win over St. Albert today. A little empty net action, but a 5-3 win. They're back playing here at the awesome facility in Notre Dame at 8:30 p.m. Okay. So what's coming up in the program? Live from Notre Dame. If you're watching the stream, you see our new. I got a Notre Dame hat, Notre Dame football hat, unique, and you got a Notre Dame toque. And you're wondering why did I get a toque? And it's like because you're bald.
And
the door.
This toque is really hot. And really warm.
Wait till that door keeps opening.
Yeah, thanks.
And you'll see how
I'll be
cold
happy
you're going to get.
Won't I?
Yeah. Keith Aulie from down the road in Rollo, Saskatchewan.
He's going to fill up the whole screen.
You're going to see him. Yeah, he is a mountain of a man. And former NHLer, Toronto Maple Leafs, little stint with Edmonton.
Tampa Bay in there too, wasn't there?
Tampa Bay in there. Yeah. Notre Dame Hound alumni. Yeah. And he was a close friend with Mandi Schwartz. He's going to join us in about 10 minutes time here. Also, it's day 3 of the SportsCage Ultimate Christmas
controversial Ultimate
bracket. There's no controversy here.
There's controversy.
It's awesome. Today, if you're on Twitter and you haven't voted yet, go there. We got Wham versus Elvis and Dolly Parton Hard Candy Christmas against the upstart Bryan Adams Reggae Christmas. So those are the two going on. You can always text in at the Capital Ford Lincoln text line, 936-6262. But like I said, it's easier on Twitter. Colson, the unofficial commissioner of the SportsCage Ultimate Christmas Song Bracket, is going to keep everything. And I think we're going to announce the winner at about 5:15. Hour 2, we have Arash Madani, and we also have Terry O'Malley, a live interview, longtime Notre Dame coach. I think he was the president here out in Wilcox.
I think he's done everything but drive the Zamboni.
He's done, yeah, exactly. He was an Olympian
3 times.
1964, 68, and 80. Won a bronze in 68. Yeah. You know the stories he has? The things that he's seen?
Where was 64? 68 was in Grenoble, France. Where was 64? There's a question.
I'm gonna say Sarajevo as a stab in the dark.
No, it's Innsbruck, Austria.
Do you know this? Did you?
No. I just it's my childhood memories of reading a lot of books.
Whatever happened to Sarajevo? Used to be a big, everyone used to go to, and there's tournaments in Sarajevo.
Yeah, there was a war there.
Was there?
Yeah, okay. Yugoslavia. Yeah, it was bad.
Former Yugoslavia. Yeah. That's where Kramer used to get his shower heads from. Also, the back half of the show. Glen Suitor is going to join us just after 5 o'clock, but the last half hour, it is a pre-tape. We got the exclusive interview of Maddox Schultz and Dave Schultz. And if you're like, who Maddox Schultz and Dave? And if you're a football guy or girl out there, you're going, Maddox Schultz and Dave Schultz. Didn't he play running back for the Tiger Cat? No. Maddox Schultz is probably going to be taken first overall in the WHL Bantam draft.
Should be.
This year. Yep. He is playing with the Regina Pat Canadians as a second-year Bantam kid. So he's playing a year up, and he's leading the league in scoring.
That's crazy.
He is such a mature kid.
Yep.
And the thing is, his dad has an awesome story.
Yes.
He's a figure skater and by trade.
It's not the Dave Schultz from the Philadelphia Flyers.
Not that Dave Schultz.
Not that Dave Schultz.
So
different Schultz.
That is going to be about 5:30. It'll be the last half of the show. It's a 2-part. So awesome. Yeah, it's going to be a fun show. Like I said, Keith Aulie will join us here momentarily. No games in the SJHL tonight. Power rankings, go to sportscage.com. Melford is still the tops there. WHL, the Pats are back in action at home. They put the ice back in. The orange top probably still got a little bit of a scent in there from Agribition.
Probably some dust in the upper bowls. Yeah.
Hopefully they swept the where so kids aren't losing edges.
I hope they pressure wash the whole thing. Yeah.
Pats and Blades tomorrow, and then the Teddy Bears fly Saturday, hopefully, as they host the Moose Jaw Warriors. AAA midget, AAA U18 last night. I got a chance to go. It was cold, and I was like, do I go? And I'm like, no, you know what? It's not every day. Again, talking about Maddox Schultz, but just that Pat Canadians team against Moose Jaw, who was 1 point back of the Pat Canadians.
Yeah, big game last night.
5-4 Moose Jaw win. Yeah. They're now in first place. For $10, I don't know if you can find better entertainment value for $10.
No, it's outstanding. Those kids play so hard, and both clubs are in great shape this year. They've done a good job, and I love the coaching staff in Regina, what they put together with their team.
Prairie Junior Hockey League this evening. Assiniboia is at the Regina Silver Foxes. That game goes 7:45 at the no concession Doug Wickenheiser Arena.
The no popcorn wick.
In the NOD. Oh, the popcorn's buzzing here at
it smells good in here.
At the rink in Wilcox. Ooh. And I am a sucker for two smells. Popcorn smells and hot dog smells.
Well, onions at the grilled onions.
You start rolling hot dogs. And, so this tournament here, the Mandi Schwartz Memorial, we're going to talk about Mandi and everything that she meant, and just unbelievable.
Hosted for 24 years?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's Notre Dame and Milestone. So shout out to the community of Milestone, who is also hosting games in this. And then there's 16 teams.
And what did
four
they
divisions
say?
Of four.
They had requests
38.
For 38 teams.
38 teams wanted to come play hockey here this weekend. And in Milestone,
that's nuts.
Next year they're talking about expanding it. They're just trying to figure out how to. Why? Because of logistics.
Yeah.
You only have so many sheets of ice.
Where else are they going to go? They'd have to go back to Regina or what?
And you want to get into that?
Rollo? You don't want to play in Rollo.
Regina's so jammed. Regina's got the Bantam A tournament. Shout out Dave Lowe and the Royals this weekend.
Where are they going to go?
So get creative. You got to get creative.
Radville.
Rollo said,
Avonlea.
Let's say if you use, we'll talk to Keith Aulie about this right away. Imagine if this is Olympic size ice.
Yeah.
Bigger sheet. And then imagine if you hosted some games at Rollo. The exact opposite.
It's like half the size of the sheet.
It'd be like playing football on a CFL field and then going to play on a flag football field.
Yeah, exactly. In a elementary school backyard. Yeah.
Our wonderful technician, Mosh, is here, and he is looking up at the wall right now. If you've never been into this rink in Notre Dame, and they have all the alumni on the wall behind us here.
It's something every arena should have. They should. And I always love this.
How would you do the bell for?
No, but I love when you go to an arena in a small town and they've got not only their alumni, which they have here, which they've done a great job with, but all their old teams as well. You should go through and see all the old teams, and I think that's just an epic part of every small town, and they should never lose that. But they've done a really nice job.
Yeah, okay, small towns for sure. I was
maybe not do it at the Belfort.
Yeah, who are they going to?
The
Jack Hamilton. It's like, look at Mike Tomchuk's picture up there. He played Pee Wee A here.
Yeah, he was pretty good. He was pretty good back in the day. Had a heck of a career with the Raymore Rockets afterwards.
I don't know where some of these teams are coming from. The
Shawinigan.
No.
Shawinigan Lake. That sounds like it's from
Shawinigan Lake is one of the teams. This is the other one. Battleford's here. Shout out Tropical Inn. Swift Current, Yellowhead Chiefs.
Manitoba.
And then what was the one that we couldn't figure out?
Balmoral?
Yeah, Balmoral.
That's a private school in Winnipeg, I believe.
Private school.
Where's the Edge Mountaineers from? Calgary?
They're somewhere where there's an edge of a mountain.
It's got to be Calgary then.
Edge Mountaineers. We'll figure it out. Yep. Games are going, I think, so what's the next game up here? It's Friday. It's Thursday. Notre Dame, I think we would have.
No. We get this one. We got Yellowhead and Edmonton next.
Yellowhead and Edmonton. All Alberta clash or Yellowhead?
Yellowhead's Manitoba.
I'm really buttoned up here.
Yeah, right on top of it.
Okay. SportsCage Ultimate Christmas Song Bracket. At last check.
By the way, I'm participating at a protest because you have Boney M in this.
Yeah, what is your beef with Boney M?
They're not even a real band. Like they
Rasputin was not a classic song.
No, it's terrible. It's terrible.
They're a legit band.
Mary's Boy Child beat Grandma Got Run Over by a Reindeer.
Yeah.
Gross.
It's tough. Metro is probably the shock of the first round so far.
That he's
Metro
out, yeah.
lost to Bing Crosby in Saskatchewan. I could see Metro losing to Bing Crosby somewhere else. Metro losing to Bing in Saskatchewan doesn't sit well with me.
No.
That's
a controversial first round matchup.
Absolute teardown and rebuild, like when Canada got smoked in Nagano style. Okay. Right now, Elvis as against Wham. Wham, that is a nice tune. Last Christmas by Wham. International flavor there against Elvis. Last Christmas is up 61%, 39%. This is just in the unofficial Twitter
Come on,
polls.
Elvis. Come on, let's get people. Let's get on the Elvis
team. Should get, what's his name, Rory Allen on to sing if he wins.
Without you.
And then talk about this battle. My top seed, Dolly Parton, Hard Candy Christmas. I still say it's one of the best songs ever written. Up against Reggae Christmas by Bryan Adams, which is an absolute toe tapper in the Shynkaruk household.
Really?
So both of these.
I've never heard Reggae Christmas.
Whoever wins, it's going down. Maybe the boys can queue up. There it is. If you're watching the stream, good job, fellas. Maybe you can tee up a little Reggae Christmas so Sharky can hear it in a bit.
Yeah.
But then you got to give a little bit of Hard Candy Christmas too, just so there's no recency bias.
Dolly should win that running away.
And she's nice. They're both Canadian though. CanCon, Reggae Christmas. Little Brian, he's Canadian.
Oh, I don't know, man.
Yeah.
Still can't believe Boney M's in this thing.
Tomorrow, like I said, there's no SJHL games. Tomorrow in the SJHL, Benny Walchuk and I did the old report on Tuesday for Saudi Mainline Chrysler. And we have like Kindersley. We're going to update on the Weyburn rink tomorrow. Weyburn's out of their barn until at least the new year.
And where are they playing? A Assiniboia? Is that where the Wings have gone? They've gone to Assiniboia. Okay.
Cody Mapes on tomorrow to talk about it. And Weyburn's 1 point back of Yorkton right now in the Viterra division. So it is tight.
They've come alive.
Unfortunate for all the teams in Weyburn, not just the junior A team.
It's like everybody. Yeah,
the female Wings that just finished playing here.
They're going to Radville.
Gold Wings.
Yeah, they're playing out of Radville now.
Radville is it the Radville, and there was another rink. Who was one of the parents standing by here that I can ask? But yeah,
Mydale. I think it was Mydale is where they went to. Yeah,
Johnner Brothers.
Yes,
billeting. I heard the Johnner Brothers are billeting the team.
Both Radville and Mydale, good barns.
10 more miles Saturday night, and Kindersley. See, Kindersley and Weyburn on Friday. If anyone knows where that game is going to be played, 936-6262, Capital Ford Lincoln text line, Saskatchewan's #1 Ford retailer, Capital Ford Lincoln. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to be joined by former Notre Dame Hound, Keith Aulie, NHLer, down the road, good friends with the Schwartz family. And we are streaming. Hammer that subscribe button on YouTube, sportscage.com. And as always, on the home of sports in Saskatchewan.
And vote for your favorite songs.
620 CKR Hard Candy Christmas. Yeah, the show on Thursday is for Access Communications. We're probably running an Access internet line here. We're live in Notre Dame. It's day one of the Mandi Schwartz Memorial Tournament, the largest female U18 AAA hockey tournament in Canada. Just in between games here, the lobby's absolutely buzzing. If you're watching the stream, you see them right. We got a guest, like I said, Keith Aulie joining us here today. Keith, you're a farmer. It's, what is it, minus 40 today. Were you any kind of work today, or are you holiday season?
I was cleaning out the shop and I was selling some old stuff on Facebook and drinking some coffee and visiting with my employees, and yeah, it was a pretty low-key day on the farm today.
So no livestock at the farm then?
Well, Dad's got a few horses, but there's a line in the sand in our yard, and he's on the horse side and I'm on the grain side.
I got you completely.
We are here, like I said, the Mandi Schwartz Memorial Tournament. You go back in this area. You're both alumni. Like, you were close with the Schwartz family and Mandi. When you go back and you think about those younger days and growing up around her, like, how can you paint the picture of what Mandi was?
Oh, she was just like the ultimate mix of competitiveness, but yet she was compassionate and she was friendly and quiet, but Yeah, just that's the whole family though. Like, it's like you had the competitiveness come out of them, and then the next minute you talk to them in the lobby like this, and they'd be hugging you, and yeah, like I got to know them all in different waves. Like my now wife used to play hockey with her, so I knew her back then before I really knew the boys at all. But then when I came to school here, ended up getting to know the boys a little bit. Rylan was a year younger than me, and Jaden was, I think, 2 or 3 years younger than me. So I knew Rylan more off the bat. But as we got playing pro hockey and stuff, I ended up training with Jaden for like probably 8 years in the summer, and got to know him really well, and ended up hanging out with him all the time in the summer. And so we basically got to meet the whole family and hang out with the whole family. Got to know Rick really well, and yeah, just like everybody else is, I'm sure, said, just an awesome family, and quite the hard times they've had to go through, but they keep going, and the Schwartzes will always live on.
And something like this, right? To it's how many years did you say this thing's been going?
24.
Like, it's Mandy passes away. Scott was telling us they kind of keep the locker in the female locker room for it was the couple years after that the captains always wore. I think it was number 17 out here. Like, just to how much that she still means to this school is actually quite amazing.
Yeah, it's just such a rallying point and inspiration for so many people around here, and especially, you see all the young ladies out here playing hockey now, and to look up and see Mandy's face, and I mean, all the girls around here want to be like her, and they never met her or anything. Like, it's just, there's an aura about her, and I sure hope it lives on.
It's also important today that we recognize the Canadian Blood Services here today collecting the stem cell test. They're doing it for the registry, and it's simply a swab you got to do. That was a big part of what Mandy brought to the school, was that effort by everybody to make sure they were registered.
Yeah, and I remember I was gone playing hockey when a lot of that was happening, and it's like I'm learning about all the stuff that she did now too, even this many years after. So yeah, it's cool. Just she brought awareness to so many different things, and yeah, it's cool to see people lining up for this.
Go ahead.
I just say, if you get a chance to do it, and my life and my family have been tremendously affected by something like this. So if you get a chance to do it, do the stem cell registry. Like I say, it's just a swab. You get kept track of for a long time, and you can help anybody anywhere in the world, not just somebody here.
If you're between the ages of 17 and 35.
Yeah. So I'm too old.
I might be able to fake my birthday by a year, I think.
It's the story that we heard. I don't want to throw out names, but it's somebody locally helped somebody or vice versa. Somebody in Germany helped somebody locally.
So another family I know that went through this, looking for a stem cell donor, did everybody that they could within Saskatchewan and Regina, and went further and further with it. Finally got a match in Germany, and the guy flew from Germany over here to Toronto to help that family out. And I just think that's cool.
Yeah. You know what the one cool thing is about this tournament? We've only been here, Sharky, about an hour and a half. How many scouts there is, right? Like the scouting game has changed a lot over the years, but you're seeing all these scouts with their, the college jackets in here. Like, this is the place to be, Keith.
Yeah. I don't know much about women's hockey. Like, this is all new for me, but yeah, like, went back, there's a scouts room, and yeah, like, I was maybe going to try some of their snacks in there, but no, it's like, it's cool. And it's, a lot of teams here, and it's just good to see Notre Dame hustling and bustling.
Okay. One thing I want to talk hockey with you is when we go through your elite prospects, right? Brandon, after Notre Dame, Brandon Wheat Kings, and then you get into pro. What is your take now on these Western Hockey League kids that are, 19, 20, and now they have the option? That's Braxton Whitehead. Now he's going to spend probably 4 years playing in Tempe, Arizona, college hockey. What is your take on that?
Well, and maybe a prospective parent with kids in hockey too, like, maybe it makes that decision a little bit easier, whether your kid's going to do this or that. Now maybe it's possibly they could do both, but I mean, I think there's got to be, I don't know, I'm probably not up to date on all the information, but there's maybe has to be some rules as far as, can a kid go to the WHL for 2 years and then just take off on his team, or how that's going to work. But man, there's options now, right? So
I don't think it's all washed out yet. We've had a kid leave Denver, go back to Portland. I saw just recently left the University of Denver to go back to play for the Portland Winterhawks. So I don't think it's washed out yet. they got to figure out what they want to do rule-wise. But I mean, there were probably lots of guys with you and Brandon that would have maybe looked for another choice had they had it.
Oh, 100%. I mean, a lot of them end up going CIS, but I mean, everybody knows school in the States and that atmosphere and that experience is unreal. So, I mean, yeah, there's got to be a good wave of kids going that way, right? So,
Without a doubt.
Okay, I love this. I'm going through your career here, and this
a lot of teams on there. Hey?
the Tampa Bay. It's okay. You're like
Does that have how many games I stay in the press box? Does it show
like
that?
to travel. So I like this 2012, 2013 Tampa Bay Lightning roster. So you got Vincent LeCavalier, Notre Dame alumni. Would you guys have, and then the head coach was John Cooper.
Yeah.
Right. So would you guys have talked to Hounds and just?
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah. There was lots of times, like I can't remember. There'd be some times where we had to grind a little bit. When you're in the NHL, like what's grinding? Well, I mean, it was like carrying your hockey bag into the rink or something. Like Vinny maybe had to do that once or something, and the whole time I was there, and I just remember he'd always look over and be like, "This is like the back in the Notre Dame days, eh?" And like he kind of laughed about stuff like that. Oh, he was a beauty. Like I don't think a lot of those guys appreciated when they first got here that, you know, like the rigors of living in a small town and the cold and the, you know, coming and putting your gear in the cold cages and everything else. But I think by the end of it, they learned a lot of life lessons. They all quite appreciated what they, you know, it was a life learning lesson experience to come out here.
No kidding.
What makes John Cooper such an awesome head coach? He's heading up Canada at the Four Nations, you know, face-off that's coming up. What makes him such an awesome coach? Besides using the generic kind of, you know, like.
Well, his tactics, first of all, are unbelievable. Like when I first got traded to Tampa and I played out the year in Tampa, we ended up missing playoffs. So I went down to the Norfolk team that he was the coach of. Well, they were on a 25-game win streak. So the first thing he says when I got there, he's like, "Well, don't mess this up for us." Like, so we ended up, I think we won 3 more, like to end the season. We won a 3-3, so it was 28 straight. We won the first game of playoffs, 29 games straight. And then I think we lost 1 more in playoffs. So to end the season, it was like 44-2 to win the Calder Cup. Like it was insane. You can look it up. It was just like, so his tactics were unbelievable, but he's a lawyer, right? So he knows how to kind of smooth the things out on a hockey team on a day-to-day basis, where if a guy's upset or a guy's this and that, he knows how to kind of make guys work together, and he can make a team jive. Like he has a whole bunch of rituals and routines, and he'll build stuff into the team that a lot of coaches I've seen don't do. Like it's not part of their
So
team.
he's more of a therapist than a lawyer.
I don't know. He just knows how to make players play for each other, I guess is what I would say.
Wow. So would he be like this cerebral, like, you know, thinking the game X's and O's, or does he just let you guys play and then coach with after that, like strategy after? What do we have here?
I think he's a mix. Like he's a mix. He wants your players to make hockey plays, but at the same time he's got a good strategy in place. But he's the type of guy that, you know, you go lay an egg and you think that the world's going to be over and we're on the road in the AHL, and he'll stop at a bar on the way home in the middle of nowhere and say, "Everybody off, we're going to have a beer." Like he just, you know, he's a different type of
just
guy.
Like
he wants you to appreciate being on the team and appreciate playing for a goal together, I guess.
Wow. It sounds like a guy we can all learn a lesson from.
Yeah.
He does something right.
That's right.
It's
Yeah.
unreal. And then you're looking at your Edmonton days here, right? Like again, another Notre Dame alumnus in Jordan Eberle was there, and a young Leon Draisaitl.
Yeah. I actually laugh about this story. Like I was there, I got sent down right off the bat, I think it was, and for conditioning, and then I came back and I was in and out of the press box most of the year. We were losing, and so they were playing younger guys, and I think it was about Christmas time, isn't it, the 40 game rule or whatever, where they sent Leon back to, I think it was Kelowna. They were going to make a Memorial Cup run.
Or did he go PA and then PA quickly traded him to Kelowna?
I think PA and then got traded.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. You guys got better memories than me. I got CT.
No, I don't, because I don't even remember him playing in the league. These guys bust my about it all the time.
Yeah. But so anyways, like I think it was around Christmas time, but I remember we lived in the same area in Edmonton, and we were like, wow, we got to take him out for dinner because he got sent down, and he was like teary-eyed. And I remember that forever. He was 18 years old. He was teary-eyed. He's getting sent down, and I'm sitting there. It was only like 4 of us that went for supper with him or whatever, and I look across to him, I'm like, buddy, you will be okay. And I'm about to play my last NHL game ever. It was like 2 months later, and he's sitting there like teary-eyed. He's getting sent down at 18, and now he's scored 1,000 goals or whatever.
No
But
kidding. Yeah.
Was he as even that young and in the league, which is absolutely, I'm sure you got to be on your game all the time. Was he that strong, that young, or did he need that going back to junior?
no, I think it was good for him to go back to junior. He could have hung in there, I think, just fine. But I think that's the lesson, and it's a lot of the times what you see with the teams that succeed and the players that succeed, that the teams are patient with them and let them go back and get that confidence. Let them dominate, right? Let him be a man. Because he was a man in training camp. Like, he has that big blocky way that he moves, kind of, and his shoulders are big, and his like not a smooth type of guy, really. Like, just but he developed that confidence, and then it's just like nobody could touch him after that.
I was telling Sharky this. I was talking to some guys at the Pat C's Moose Jaw game last night, and these guys were like, "Wow, he doesn't skate very well," and he doesn't. And I said, "Have you ever really seen Leon Draisaitl skate? He's terrible." Or Mark Stone.
Mark Stone. I was just going to say that. I was his captain in Brandon when he first came in. You know, and all of us older guys were like, this guy can stick handle, he can make plays, but he can't barely get up the ice. Like, he'd be at the red line, everybody else would be down at the goal line. It was unreal. But like, to give him a year or two, and it was just, oh man, these guys can make plays.
See, that's a great point.
That is. I mean, you have to have one of the two skills really, really, really good, right? You can either skate like Everly, or you can handle the puck like Stone. If you're lucky, you can do both.
Where did you score your first NHL goal, and how did it go?
It was on the island where the Islanders used to play
Nassau.
out there. Yeah. Jay Rosehill, actually, big tough guy from Alberta, passed it out, and I remember I kind of muffined one in from the point and
against
got lucky, I guess. Who was their goalie then? I'm trying to remember. See, I've been punched too many times. My favorite one was Tim Thomas in Toronto. I sifted one in on the glove on him.
Okay.
It's good that you got a favorite over a first one.
Cam Ward, I had actually one of my, I didn't have many goals, as you can see, but my nicest NHL goal was on Cam Ward.
Okay, probably the bigger question in Sasky here. Where did you score your first Nautica Hockey League goal again last year?
Did you play in the NHL?
Well, I think I only played in Rollo I played Rollo 2 games, and I think I played Avonlea for 1, so it would have been Rollo. That was the first game, I think. Pretty sure I scored the first game.
You hope you
That might be a skill testing question, too. I can't remember last year.
On the Monday Nooner, it was Jeff Odgers. When he came back to play senior, he scored his first goal, and he went back to the bench in Rocanville, and he looked up to try and watch it on the big screen, and he's like, not in the show anymore.
No big screen here.
I'm in Rocanville.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to see it anyway. See how slow I am.
Okay, you're not. You said you're not really. I find it hard. Like, it's those long days on the, Christmas time on the farm, and then maybe having a couple of cocktails and listening to some Christmas music. But we need to get your vote. So it's Wham versus Elvis. It's Elvis. Who do you want there?
Elvis.
Yeah. Okay, and it's Dolly Parton versus Bryan Adams.
Bryan Adams.
Oh, you're killing me.
Yeah, I don't know.
Jeez, he went Canadian with Bryan Adams. No, it's Colson. You got to mark those down. Those count. Those count. Keith, thanks so much for coming out here and taking time out of your busy day.
I came a long ways, 10 miles down the road.
So much fun. Thanks.
Good luck selling that stuff on Facebook, too.
Sold in 15 minutes. You wouldn't believe it.
Really? Good for you, man. Love it.
I got some stuff that I need to unload some of my kids' stuff.
I'm a bit of a specialist.
Yeah. He's going to take a big commission, though. We got to look at it.
If you're watching the stream, we're live in Notre Dame. That's Keith Aulie. And, of course, always we are on the home of hockey in Saskatchewan, 620 CKRM. Great interview there with Keith Aulie. And then he tell the story about
what are you doing with
tell the story about we just asked him. He played one senior game this year.
Yeah. So he had practice in Avonlea with his kids, was down there for practice, and practice ended, and the senior team's walking in. So they go, "Hey, you're playing." So he ran to the mother-in-law's for a bowl of chili. He was back on the ice, and 8 o'clock against the Avonlea. I believe they're still the Avonlea Arrows. So, he's got one game in this year. Yeah. I don't know if there's any points in that, but he does have one game.
He did, yeah. He scored a goal.
Yeah.
He scored a goal. Nautica Hockey League. Here we go. All SportsCage Ultimate Christmas Song Bracket. See, he voted for Bryan Adams.
Yes.
And Elvis.
Bryan Adams is a bad choice.
That hurts. Like, who are you voting for?
I am voting for Dolly.
Yeah.
But I am voting for Elvis.
Elvis? Okay. Scott up in Saskatoon on the Capital Ford Lincoln text line. He's going seaside consolation. He said, put me down for Zit Remedy over Mike and the Drifters. Going back to our Degrassi episode in the Xmas Carol. It's first off, it's the Sports Cage Ultimate Christmas Song bracket. So you can go to Twitter and vote, or send us a text 936-6262. If it's witty and fun, we'll read it. We'll read it online as well.
So none of my friends are writing in.
Canada West in the World Junior A competition going on in Camrose. I'm just going to pull it. They're not doing too well.
They're not doing too well. They get bumped by Sweden 10-2 and 6-1 to Canada East. And they play the Americans tonight. And the Americans lost to Sweden. So
and the Americans beat Canada East 8-rip.
Yeah. So
Canada West is having a struggle out there. Maybe they can try and turn it around. And Canada East Sweden today, so it looks like a Sweden USA kind of playoff shindig.
Somebody's going to have to come alive in the quarterfinals to get Canada through.
We are live here at the Mandi Schwartz Memorial Tournament in Wilcox, Saskatchewan, the home of Athol Murray College of Notre Dame. Two Alberta teams on the ice right now. First period of play.
You screwed it up already.
Yeah, what did I say?
To Alberta. It's an Alberta and Manitoba team.
Which is the Manitoba?
Yellowhead Chiefs.
Yellowhead Chiefs from Manitoba. Sorry, everybody from Alberta. And Notre Dame, their first game earlier today, 10:30 a.m., 5-3 win over St. Albert. There was an empty netter in that one, and then they're back on the ice, so the girls are probably resting right now as they take on Lloydminster, 8:30 p.m. This is the biggest female U18 AAA tournament in Canada.
The cool part to me is not only is it the biggest, but how many teams they had tried to offer to come or register to get in. They're looking at expanding this, and now they just need somebody to build them another ice surface right here in Notre Dame so they can expand the tournament.
Yes.
That was kind of a shameful plug.
If you're watching the streams too, Sharky got a toque, and they have the little gift shop here, the Hound shop. They got one in town, and then they have
one in the rink.
One in the rink here. It's awesome. And then like the popcorn machines. But if you're female, like I might. Gabrielle's up in Saskatoon, but I was thinking it'd be nice to take, because this is good hockey too.
This is great. Been getting to peek over the glass here and see some of the action that's going on.
And scouts.
I love those Oiler jerseys the Edmonton team's got on. Those are sharp.
Are there scouts here? So like we said, Notre Dame's back in action tonight. They're expanding. There's games also going on at the rink in Milestone. Great rink there as well. Everything wraps up Sunday with 2 p.m. is the championship game.
In here. At Notre Dame.
And it's like the old Max tournament was, or a lot of tournaments. If they take the top teams at a certain time, and I think sometimes there is a sentimental maybe team that gets in or whatever. So you got to be playing good hockey at a certain point.
Got to be in the mix
to get in. So speaking of that, I can't remember, and somebody text me if I'm wrong here. I can't remember if Moose Jaw is going to the Circle K. It's always going to be the Max tournament to me.
Yeah.
And
change the name if you want.
Circle K doesn't advertise on this program, so it doesn't matter. I'm calling it the Max tournament in Calgary over Christmas, the large male AAA tournament, which Notre Dame has won a number of times over the years. The Regina Pat Canadians are going.
I believe Moose Jaw's going as well.
Ryan Hodgins has his team going. So those two teams went at it last night at C6. I was going to text you to be like, hey, what are you doing? It was cold.
Yeah.
And I know,
at my age.
I didn't want to say it. It's tough to get you out. But I don't like slagging on the refs, but did they call penalties?
They were loving
I don't know if they were trying to send a message early or what they're doing.
New whistle.
They called a lot of penalties. And then the linesmen were right on point. Linesmen are right on point. And the ice surface, no surprise to probably a lot of people that skate at the Cooperator Center. Puck was Eli Johnson had a breakaway. and he might as well have been playing with a tennis ball.
What was Eli doing on a? Isn't he a defenseman?
I think it was an end of a 4-on-4.
Okay.
And he kind of smart.
Jumped up.
Hockey sense.
Yeah.
He again breakaway and the puck bounce, and he missed it. You look over at Dad, and he was just, come on, Eli. But it was the ice. I know we got our clutch performer for Nick's service in Emerald Park, usually coming up between 4 and 5 o'clock. But I'm gonna say in the running is Luke, the music guy for the Regina Pat Canadians. On point.
He was good last night, was he?
Yeah, he would go from like Nickelback to Doug and the Slugs or something. It was
He had a good mix.
really nice mix. Luke does there. I don't know if he does the in-house announcing too, but it was great. And like I said,
Maybe he's following up on the guy we interviewed for Agribition.
yeah,
What's that? What guy?
Panzer,
Garrison Panzer?
Garrison Panzer.
Garrison Panzer.
You're buddies with him on
Yeah, I follow him now.
Instagram now.
Following him on the gram. Yeah.
But $10. It was back and forth action. It came down to the end. I think the Pat sees my daughter actually was down getting some videos of Maddox Schultz. And I think the puck went in. They waved it off. Should have been a tie game, but it was.
They didn't use her video for review.
They didn't use my video. 5-4 Moose Jaw over the Pat Seas. When those two teams play again, definitely head up. Swift Currents up there. They play. I think it's Warman coming up here for $10.
Nice to see the South back in the mix. Saskatoon, PA, Tisdale have dominated for a while. Nice to see the South back leading the way.
Jonah Sievertson, Pat Seas, was playing with the Prince Albert Raiders earlier this season. Hat trick.
Nice.
Almost threw my hat on the ice. No one else did. Yeah, hat trick for the Pat Canadians. And it was...
That would have been a highlight for the young fella to have a hat come out. You should have done
that. That was my brand new Nooner hat, too. I was like, hey, give that back to me. Keaton,
you got to start keeping an old one in the pocket when you go to those.
Keaton Lesperance from Regina, NOD style. He plays for Moose Jaw. He had 2 goals.
Good for him.
On the other side. Yeah, so that was good. Like I said, hockey in the area this evening. No WHL. Our WHL report usually for extreme hockey and sport in Regina. They're giving back with their 12 days of giveaways. Your chance to win with every purchase. Visit the store for details. They got some great deals still going on there. Pats in action tomorrow night back at home against the Saskatoon Blades,
who are having a heck of a season considering they're in a rebuild. Wow.
It's really interesting there. And I'm planning to reach out to our friend Les Lazaruk next week to ask him to come on. Yeah, because in the Eastern Conference, the Saskatoon Blades, with 3 games in hand, are 3 points up on the Medicine Hat Tigers.
That's surprising. I had Saskatoon like way down because of the rebuild, because of the run they took last year.
And Tanner Molendyke?
Yeah.
What are they going to do with him?
I don't...
Because he... World Juniors and
I don't know. Like they're honestly probably looking at their team going, how do we get in this spot and what do we do now? Right.
Well, do we have enough to go?
Well, it's the rebuild that you get in the Western Hockey League, especially where you kind of got a 3, 4, 5 year cycle that you're going through, and Saskatoon's got themselves in an upside down spot in the cycle. How do they get out of this? Because what'll it look like next year if they don't?
Oh, what happened to you, boss? What do you play? U17 prep? What's your name? Tristan. Tough one. Collarbone. Get better, bud.
It's a long way from your heart.
I think he was just in the gym. No, he was probably rehabbing it. Yeah. That's always tough to see a young guy in a sling. U17 prep. So back to the 3 point. They're 3 points up. And somebody the other day mentioned to me, I don't know if it was the Pats. There was another team that was in this situation. It was the Pats. I was talking, and they said they had to unload. And everyone's like, they're in first. What are you doing? What a stupid... Well, I guess you got to know where you land.
Yeah, that's right. Do you have enough?
Are you going to be able to go 4 rounds?
Yeah.
Or do you kind of try and reload the cupboard? But who's kicking tires? Like the Jagger deal went down.
The Pats moved
Miller.
Yeah.
The Tanner Howe deal now
is gone. Yeah.
Genius.
Yeah. Get out there first. Get your slice of the pie. Yeah. There's still there's still some teams that might be looking to sell, but again, do you just want to finish 8th and get 2 home gates in the playoffs or 3 home gates in the the first round? get bounced out? If you are, do you make that move? If you're the Saskatoon Blades, you're sitting in first place. You got to look at things maybe a little differently as you revamp towards the playoffs.
It's it'll get really interesting.
Good for them.
Hoping to have Brad Haroff on the show tomorrow as they get set to take on those Saskatoon Blades. More importantly, we are here, the Mandi Schwartz Memorial Tournament in Notre Dame, and we got until 5 o'clock. I think Colson said the Christmas song bracket: Wham versus Elvis, Dolly versus Bryan Adams. Scott Yanko,
you're
from Notre Dame. Who are you voting? Who are you voting for between Wham and Elvis? You got to pick one.
It's Elvis, isn't it?
Christmas songs.
Come on, Scotty. It's Elvis. It's Elvis. I like it. You got to lead him a little.
What's that called when that's not pandering?
Coercion.
Yeah. The rig. And
this toque is hot. Holy smokes.
It looks good, though, on the stream.
Thanks,
if you're
man.
watching the stream, sportscage.com, you see Sharky in his Notre Dame toque. I got a nice Notre Dame football hat. Things are buzzing here. We are going to take a quick break. When we come back,
we got to get some popcorn.
Mosh, we're going to grab us some popcorn. We're live at Notre Dame. It's the All New SportsCage streaming at sportscage.com. The All New SportsCage, Barney Shynkaruk and Sharky and CNC back at the studio. We are live in Wilcox, Saskatchewan at the Mandi Schwartz Memorial Tournament.
2-0 Edmonton ahead of Yellowhead.
2-0.
7 to go in the first.
The game before Calgary dumped Weyburn 3-0. I heard there's a protest, though.
Really?
No, I was hoping that their heads would turn around.
Oh.
I'm just joking. Absolutely. And then Notre Dame's back on the ice this evening, trying to go 2-0 in the home tournament. I mentioned the stem cell thing, that they're doing this here again today. This is so important. And they have the booth set up.
Yep.
And
takes 10 minutes.
Takes 10 minutes?
Takes 10 minutes.
Okay, explain it.
So you come get a swab, you get yourself registered to be in the stem cell registry. It's run by Canadian Blood Services. That information is kept as long as you're 17 to 35 years old. That information is kept. If you're a match to somebody in the stem cell registry, and this is across the world. This isn't just North America or Canada or Saskatchewan. It's across the world. If you're a match, they will reach out and see if you're willing to be a donor of stem cells for somebody in need, and it's life-saving. It truly is. So if you're not an organ donor, registered as an organ donor, please do that. If you aren't giving blood, there's another way to step up, and the final one is through the stem cell registry, and it's an amazing way to help somebody without actually having to do a whole bunch. You can just get yourself a swab, get registered, and you're in the books.
And they're here.
They're set up right here in the
right across from us
in the lobby. Yeah,
it's awesome. Thursday Sports Cage is brought to you by Access Communications, trusted in rural Saskatchewan for internet, TV, and home security. I'm not sure if they have access here, but if they do, the stream's going off without a hitch.
Working good
out in Notre Dame. Yeah, it's
we're gonna say it's Access.
Everything's working well.
Yeah.
NHL this evening. What's your biggest surprise in the NHL so far for you this season?
There's 2 tire fires that I didn't see. The Rangers being one. What a disaster.
Yeah.
All right.
And if people have never, like we talked about before, never been to that, the passion and what they care.
They do. They care. And then Nashville. Nashville's kind of in the same boat. Like, what happened there? They retooled. They made some big offseason signings and moves, and they're having a heck of a time getting started. So to me, those are the two of the biggest ones. The Rangers, though, I mean, like, they're in the Final Four. They were right there. And when you trade your captain and you're public about trading your captain, like, they weren't quiet. They didn't, we're going to sneak him out the door. They were like, we got to get rid of this guy. Then you got a problem in your dressing room.
So awkward.
Oh, yeah. There's something wrong there, and they got to figure it out. So
we were talking about NHL this evening. I'm just looking at Cool Bet here on some of the lines and some of the Canadian teams that are in action. Toronto Maple Leafs are home to the Anaheim Mighty Ducks. -1.5 Leafs there. Maybe hit that. The Ducks aren't a very good hockey team. Winnipeg is home to the Vegas Golden Knights.
What do we got on that one?
Cool Bet has Winnipeg -1.5. That's a good game. Winnipeg didn't play that well the other night.
Are you kidding? Against Boston? 8-1.
Yeah, no, that
Yeah.
they played. Maybe it was the game before.
Yeah.
We got to wrap here. Before we go, I just wanted to go to the uncool bet here to the senior hockey lines and see if
You got the senior hockey lines?
Keith Aulie's Oxbow Carnduff, still big 6 action on there as well. Time for a quick break. That's an hour in the books. When we come back, we got Arash Madani joining us. We are live at the Mandi Schwartz Memorial Hockey Tournament in Wilcox, Saskatchewan at the College of Notre Dame, streaming at sportscage.com and on 620 CKRM. Oh, I don't even know who plays in the Thursday nighter tonight. I forgot. San Francisco and somebody, isn't it?
The Rams.
NFL lives at the Canadian Brewhouse. Thursday night football, your chance to win a trip to an NFL home opener of your choice. You got $1 off tankards of Bud Light and Bud Heavies. Details at thecanadianbrewhouse.com. 2 locations in Regina, 1 in Moose Jaw. We're kind of right in the middle of Regina and Moose Jaw here, kind of. And like a triangle down in Wilcox, Saskatchewan. College of Notre Dame, the Mandi Schwartz Memorial Tournament is underway here. I wanted to mention something else as well. Mosh is over there getting busy. We were almost late.
3-0. Oilers ahead now after 1.
3-0
over Yellowhead Chiefs.
Tournament. Yeah, there's 16 teams in this tournament. 38 applied.
That's bizarre to me.
So they're trying to expand it next year. Facility issue, obviously. Where are you going to play?
Yeah, they've run out of ice surfaces.
And they use Milestone, which is a great idea.
I can see Avonlea. I can see Radville. Yep.
Smaller barns though, and then you got this. That's a big. I just noticed we got Queens. We got Queens over there.
I saw Alberta.
I saw a U.S. college scouts. Lots of scouts. Scouting is going on. 936-6262, Capital Ford Lincoln text line. If you want to chime in on any of the conversation, especially our Sports Cage Ultimate Christmas Song bracket. Today, we have Elvis up against Wham.
Should be an easy one. Elvis should be winning.
Last Christmas was I think it was one of the most popular songs played on radio before Mariah Carey came out with hers. So don't sleep on Wham out there. And then Dolly Parton, Hard Candy Christmas. I said, I'll stand by it. One of the greatest songs ever written and performed, up against Bryan Adams, Reggae Christmas. Toe Tapper. Good song. Good song. They're both good.
Again, I still don't know the Bryan Adams one. We're going to have to get some.
The boys are going to play it here at the bottom of the hour.
Yep.
Bottom of the. It's like we're on a radio show. Bottom of the hour. We're going to give away tickets to Slapstick and Moondog. Let's go out on the. Let's go out, boys. Play the splitter.
The All New Sports Cage and Coast to Coast with Arash Madani is brought to you by Smart Investing Solutions. Be smart with your money. Call Brian Golly at Smart Investing Solutions, 546-2533.
What are you shaking your head about on the
You fools have no fun over there, huh? Like none whatsoever.
It's a good gig.
What if you can't laugh at yourself? Who can you laugh at?
I hear you there, brother. Yeah, I hear you there loud and clear.
This place, I'm telling you, when you come to town and you buy me that Western pizza and those pints of original 16s, we might, maybe pre-pints, we'll take a swing out here to Wilcox, Saskatchewan, about 35 minutes from Regina, and you will see this little college in just kind of the middle of nowhere and just see how it hums around hockey. It is unreal out here. How would you paint the picture to Arash?
Out here, it's one of one. It's the whole community, the whole town is this campus and hockey school.
And the alumni wall.
Yeah.
The pictures of, we just had Keith Aulie on a little while ago, and he played with
Jordan Eberle,
Vincent LeCavalier, Jordan Eberle, coached by John Cooper, all Notre Dame alumni. There's a stream right there. There's the rink.
Yeah.
Brad Richards. You can go, this list is
Braden Coburn.
Is huge. It's huge. Arash, let's start with
the weirdest piece of news ever.
Bill Belichick is going to coach North Carolina?
North Carolina. Honestly, I wonder if we rewound the clock to like Labor Day, leading into the start of this NFL season. And we asked Bill Belichick, what do you think the odds are that you're going to be coaching in college in 2025? I wonder what his answer would be, honestly. And I bet you the number was higher than you and I would think, but it'd still be a low number. Like, I bet he would have said, 10 or 15%.
Is that where his girlfriend's going to school?
Well, I think
She's
Bill
not much older than that.
to write
Why
the
are you making
check
fun of him?
for grad school. Yeah.
Yeah.
If Bill's taking the job because he's looking for free tuition, I don't think that's the gig. But here's what's interesting, guys. College football has become pro football in a lot of ways. Like with the transfer portal, with NIL, and who does Bill really report to? Like, is the athletic director going to tell Bill Belichick what he can and can't do? Like, when he kind of floated out to McAfee what was going on initially, he said, "Yeah, I have met with the chancellor." Like, Bill basically, I think, if you're looking at the flow chart, his direct report might be to the governor of North Carolina, nobody at the institution. like, what are we talking about here?
Yeah,
Belichick
that would be
going to coach your football team.
That would be a very weird conversation, wouldn't it? To come and say,
Yeah.
"No, we're moving on." Yeah, I'm the athletic director. No, you're not.
How's the recruiting going to go for Belichick? I know Saban did it. How is that going to go at his age? How is he going to connect?
So I'm looking at North Carolina, and I see a lot of similarities with what Deion Sanders is doing down at Colorado. And you know what, guys? I don't think there's going to be much of Bill going into mom and dad's living rooms talking to high school kids. I think that North Carolina is going to live in the transfer portal. Like, Belichick's first hire is Michael Lombardi as his GM. Lombardi's been a GM with the Raiders. He was there with the Patriots. He was there with the Cleveland Browns. I think they're going to go and say, look, we're going to put a dollar value attached to everybody in the portal, and we're willing to pay you this. And if you're going to come, great. And then we're going to hire basically a different, an assistant GM or a GM of high school, and they're going to go talk to mom and dad, not Belichick, because you're not going to have first and second year guys coming in making an impact right away. I just think those days of college football are over.
I am really interested if we can keep this tape, Curtis, even if I'm not on this program in like a year and a half, 2 years from now, to the kids that want to transfer.
Yeah.
Because they don't want to play for him anymore. And that's going to happen.
Or they do want to play for him.
Well, that's what he was kind of talking about, the transfer portal. I think it's the other way that I'm kind of curious about is when these kids are like, he doesn't connect with us. I don't like what he is. Because kids nowadays, it doesn't matter if you're playing football, hockey, basketball, baseball, especially at the college level, if you look at them the wrong way, they're out.
Except nobody has 8 Super Bowl rings. Nobody is renowned as the greatest coach of all time. Nobody else can come in and say, you know what? I can get you to the show, and I have all the contacts in the NFL to make that happen.
I don't disagree with that point of it, and I think what you're going to see out of Belichick is the team will be coached by the coordinators. He'll just be on the sidelines. I think this is really a figurehead position to try to use the portal to get guys.
I would really like to know what Tom Brady thinks. Like, really, not on air, not
not
fabricated,
on Twitter, yeah.
What he really thinks. Look at them hugging. This was one of the most awkward hugs ever. You see right back in there, Trisha and I.
Were you there?
Yeah, the 35-yard line, and she bought me Fuddruckers French fries in the first quarter. I didn't even, I was so excited. Could this be a little bit? Are we seeing, I guess, Arash, a trend of ex-NFL guys going the college route?
I think it depends on what you're interested in. Like, what we're seeing is Chip Kelly was the head coach at UCLA, and he said, I don't want to deal with NIL. I don't want to deal with transfer portal anymore. He went and became the offensive coordinator at Ohio State. You saw Nick Saban say, I don't want to deal with the portal anymore. I don't want to deal with my players coming out basically saying I'm free agents. I'm out. Meanwhile, some are coming in, like Bill O'Brien, who worked for Belichick, who was the head coach of the Houston Texans in the NFL. He's now the head coach of Boston College. You have Lane Kiffin, who was the coach of the Raiders. He's now the head coach at Ole Miss. You have Joe Judge, who was the head coach of the New York Giants. He's now like a senior analyst with Ole Miss. I really think, honestly, guys, it comes down to what you're interested in. And I think that like the traditional college coach, they have to adapt to a new world that they're unfamiliar with. But if you have a pro coach who has dealt with free agency before, who's dealt with the draft before, who's dealt with contract negotiations for, I think college football is made for you right now.
I agree with you 100% on that, and I think the point being, Saban had it pretty easy. Once he signed you to you're going there for 4 years, he didn't have to worry about you anymore. Now he doesn't have to. He doesn't have that luxury, right? So you've got to be able to adapt, and maybe
Can't
Saban
look at him the wrong way. Like you said,
Saban couldn't adapt.
Well, and here's the other thing. Last year, at the end of last year, as the kind of story goes, Alabama loses in the national semifinal on New Year's Day. Okay, Michigan goes on, they win the national championship. So at exit meetings, Saban's sitting down with each of his players, and he's talking to his players about, okay, I need you to work on this offseason. Let's make this a priority. Let's make that. And the players just kind of sitting there saying, Coach, how much are you paying me next year? So like the entire kind of landscape of all of this has changed. It's not about development. It's not about improvement. It's about pay me.
Yep.
Full stop.
And North Carolina, really, unless you've been under a rock, they're a basketball school,
Without a doubt.
starting with Michael Jordan, kind of ending with Vince Carter as well too. I would like to know what are the goals for this football program 2 years from now, 5 years from now? Are they going to try and turn this into a football program?
Yeah, and look, there have been signs that they were close. Like, you go back, whatever it was, 6-7 years ago, Mitchell Trubisky was their quarterback. He was a first-round pick of the Bears. Drake May was their quarterback before, and now he's the first-round pick of the Patriots. But I just think that Belichick isn't going there without an assurance that there is going to be a lot of money and private money and donor money and collective money that's going to be available to go into the portal and sign guys. And look, if there's one thing we've kind of learned this year, you can turn things around quick. Like Indiana, the Indiana Hoosiers were nothing in football. You talk about a basketball school, Bobby Knight, IU, Assembly Hall, and suddenly they're in the playoff. They were undefeated until they ran into Ohio State. I think there can be a turnaround quickly, especially if the commitment is there financially to go get guys.
It's interesting you say that, because I think more than ever, you don't have to build a 4-year program at a college of anything.
Right.
Hockey, football, basketball, it doesn't matter. You can go out and find the 20 players you want right now and put them on your roster.
Poach. Yep. Professional poachers. Kay, I'm really curious on Monday to talk to UNC alumnus Darian Durant on what he thinks about this signing. I want to move to Thursday night or tonight. I was just on Cool Bets, looking at the line. Okay, maybe start with this. I haven't really watched Puka Nacua play football until last week. Blew me away, Arash. How good he is.
So you look at a guy like Puka. Does he have size? Yeah. Does he have athleticism? Yeah. Does he have speed? Yeah. Does he have instincts? Yeah. Does he have hands? Yeah. How did he drop to the 5th round again? It's funny, in a receiving core that has Cooper Kupp, who for like the last 3 years was renowned as, a top 3-4 receiver in the league with Jefferson and Devontae Adams and the rest. Puka Nacua now, guys, may be the best receiver on that Rams roster. Like, I don't even look at him as a receiver. Like, look at the way they use him for those watching on the stream. End arounds, reverses. He's Christian McCaffrey light. Like, I wouldn't call him a WR or an SB, You know, he's not a wide receiver or slot back. He's an OW. He's just an offensive weapon.
I find he's the new school version of Julian Edelman.
Oh, but way better.
You had to
Bigger,
say that.
faster, more explosive, more talented.
Less rings.
But
Yeah, less rings.
I think with lots of teams, though, they're looking at Cup. They're where's Cooper all the time, and they maybe don't cover the rest of the Rams, and that's why there's going to be open spots. And if he's good, he's going to get lots of opportunity to shine. I think if you start focusing on him, you're going to lose track of Cooper Kupp pretty quick.
I tell you what, guys, look, I get Detroit's doing what Detroit does, but I just see a lot of value in the Rams at 30-1 to win the NFC. I really do. I really do.
Oh, no Philly, no Detroit. Arash like Sprinkle Town.
I like value.
Population
30-1.
Los Angeles.
30-1.
I like lottery tickets. What can I tell you?
You should be here buying a 50-50 and taking part in the raffle table over. Look at that, Jaden Schwartz.
Holy smokes.
Jaden Schwartz jersey. That's a nice jersey. Seattle Kraken jersey.
That is.
San Francisco 49er fans that I know that are realistic kind of feel like it's the end of the line for this run for the 49ers.
Yeah, I think so too. I really do. They hung on as long as they could. I mean, look at the last 5 years, guys. Been to a couple of Super Bowls, lost to those Rams in the NFC Championship game. Just looks like Debo's washed. Looks like Trent Williams' best football is behind him. McCaffrey hasn't been able to stay healthy, and that's just on offense. We haven't even talked about a defense that's been in tatters. But I got a thought for you guys. If you're San Francisco, do you re-up Brock Purdy, or do you go bring in your backup quarterback from last year by the name of Slingin' Sammy Darnold?
But Purdy's going to be too expensive for
so's Darnold.
Borderline rebuild.
Who would you want as your and if dollars are equal, let's just say they're both in the 35 to 40 range, because Purdy's taken a step back this year with all the injuries and the lack of performance.
Yeah, it's a tough question.
Who do you take? Darnold's 28. Purdy's 25.
Purdy.
I think you're going to be able to get Purdy at a bit of a discount.
Although redheads are fiery. maybe I go Darnold.
You know, for a second, Barney, I was wondering if you were leaving the company to join the scouting team in Chapel Hill, North Carolina, with Belichick and Lombardi and those guys. The redhead fiery, as the scouting report, may not pass the smell test with those two.
No, maybe this guy's onto something. Until I'm totally out on CFL commissioner, I'm not applying for any other jobs.
Fair.
You heard it.
That one's still a long shot, but it hasn't been announced yet, so it's still a long shot.
My sources tell me you and I are the finalists, by the way, Barney.
Yeah. Right.
When's your third interview?
No, change it. Bait and switch. Let's split it, and we'll both do it.
That would be interesting.
Really
be
throw it for a loop.
Yeah.
Game of the week or game of the year possibly on Sunday between the Bills and the Lions. Lions are 2.5. If I'm looking at Coolbet correctly.
Yeah, and I think the total's around the mid-50s right now. I mean, you can't have a total of 71, which you just get the sense that that's what the total should be.
I followed you last week with Green Bay. I put all my money on the Pack, and that turned out poor. Yeah,
+3. It was a push, wasn't it?
I had them to win.
You took a money line. You took a money line.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I see that we're both very greedy. I don't know, guys. I'm intrigued to see what Buffalo is going to do indoors, where there's no elements, there's no snow, there's no wind, against a banged up but good defense. What is Josh Allen capable of? And I don't want to say this is the referendum on his MVP season, but this can be the final brushstroke. With a performance on Sunday, it will leave no doubt. Now, if it goes the other way and Saquon has a big day, we have ourselves a we still have ourselves a conversation. But this can really kind of put Josh head and shoulders above everybody else in the league.
Isn't it? We talked last week, and it's like, oh, Detroit's defense so banged up. Like,
that's what I was
going to be
betting on.
good. Yeah, and then they're. You know what though? It just feels like one of those years, and that's where you're 30-1 on Los Angeles that I teased. Something it doesn't. I don't feel that there's a clear cut. I don't care how passionate Kansas City fans are. Even you are not comfortable with how they're winning games.
Sure. And the other thing about Detroit, and ask the guy who bet Packers money line last week. Detroit went 4 of 5 on 4th down, and there was like a 4th and 6 and a 4th and 5 in that. Like, if 2 of those go the other way, how different is that ball game? And if you go into the playoffs with that aggressive mindset, and they showed in the NFC Championship game against San Fran last year, that's the way they're going to play. You're playing with fire. I get it worked last week, and I get that's your DNA. But 2 turnovers, around midfield can change the entire tilt of the field and the entire tenor of the ball game.
I know because of my possible scouting for UNC, I can't talk about what Baltimore should do. But if they were resting,
this is a conflict of interest.
They were resting guys. Yeah. I'm still saying Baltimore is the team to beat if they can rest their guys, and I don't think they will. And you know what? I don't. Before we get to the, we don't like to get political on the show,
right.
But I have to ask you, as an Ontario resident, Doug Ford with a little bit of a flex towards the United States, and Trump saying that he's going to cut off their Power Ontario supplies as a threat.
Yes.
I feel, and again, not getting political, I feel like Doug Ford is that guy you want in the bar when the bully starts pushing guys around.
You want him and Bissonnette together.
And Doug Ford just stands up, and it's like, I'm right here. Yeah. I could fight fire with fire.
Doug's the kind of guy he'll stand up, and then he'll point at his 3 goons beside him and say, take care of this guy, because Doug's not getting his hands dirty. That's the kind of guy Doug is.
Smart. Yeah. No, he'd never be able to scout for us at UNC. Never.
Us.
You know it.
I like the career change.
You know it. Okay.
Oh, that's great.
You got to chime in here. Now, think long and hard. SportsCage Ultimate Christmas Song Bracket. Today's matchups, we had a massive upset in day 1. Bing Crosby knocked off Metro, who's huge in Saskatchewan.
Major upset.
It's an absolute rebuild for the Metro camp. Like it's a rebuild. Here it is. So today
we even have a bracket. Oh my!
Look at this. Come on,
of
course. Yeah. Like, come on.
Okay.
You think this is this is the kind of stuff I put in my resume when I send it to UNC.
Sure.
Wham versus Elvis. Like Wham last Christmas against Elvis, I'll have a blue Christmas. Who's Arash voting for?
By the way, here's another reason you're not getting the UNC job. Knowing what Belichick's been up to lately, I see Santa looked a lot like Daddy lost. So Bill's not going to like that.
Oh. Good one. Real. You got to be real highbrow to get that one on the SportsCage today, but I like it.
Sorry, what was the original question?
Wham versus Elvis. Wham versus Elvis.
Oh man, we're going Elvis. Come on now.
Oh,
Thank you.
Come on, Arash.
Come on.
And then the second one, one of the greatest songs ever written, Dolly Parton, Hard Candy Christmas, against Bryan Adams, Reggae Christmas.
If you're asking me to vote between Dolly and Bryan Adams, it's not even close. We'll take the high heels and the boots and the big blonde hair every time.
Love it.
My boy.
Yeah.
Didn't even go Canadian. Didn't even go CanCon.
No, not even looking at it.
I love it. Yeah. All right. Okay. I'll be texting you this weekend.
Yeah.
I'll let you know what kind of craziness I'm on in Sprinkle Town. And we'll enjoy the ride together, and then we'll reconvene on Tuesday.
I like the Houston Texans, Seattle Seahawks money line parlay. Boom.
I'll take that.
I think I'm going against that then.
I'll put that on.
Okay.
I'm going against it. I'm going the other way.
I like it.
Talk to you Tuesday, Arash.
Thanks, man.
Have fun there, boys.
Cheers. Right on Coast to Coast, Arash Madani for Brian Gawley and Smart Investing Solutions. We are live. The College of Notre Dame in Wilcox, Saskatchewan. It's the Sports Cage. Thank you if you're streaming at sportscage.com. Hammer the subscribe button. We're almost at 1,000. When we get to 1,000, something special happens. No idea what it is, but it happens.
Giving away a prize.
Subscribe, please.
Giving away
YouTube.
a prize.
Yeah, we'll
Might
give away
be
a
this
prize.
toque.
We'll give away a prize for sure. And as always, we're on 620 CKRM. Live at the College of Notre Dame. Sharky had to step out for a second. That's okay. I'm going to do the clutch performer for Nick Service in Emerald Park. Your local Massey Ferguson, Challenger, Rogator, Gleaner, and Fent dealer. Call 781-1077. We are going to the AAA U18 game last night. Pat C's and Moose Jaw, 5-4 Moose Jaw win. Clutch performer in the loss, Jonas Sievertson. 3 goals for the Regina Pat Canadians, Ryan Hodgins' team in the losing effort. Heck, Keaton Lesperance from Moose Jaw, clutch performer as well. 2 goals. Carson Dykert, 2 goals, 1 assist for Moose Jaw. Moose Jaw is now 1 point ahead of the Pat Canadians for first in the league. Did I ever tell you the story? I coached Jonas Sievertson.
In what?
St. Josephat aerial football. I coached him, and I didn't get mad at him. He was really good, really big. He left in the semifinal, because he had to go to Bantam AA hockey tryouts. I told his dad, I'm like, is he going to make the team? Probably. Then just keep him here.
He'll be fine.
Just keep him here. If you're watching the stream, you see we have a special guest. He's Terry O'Malley, former Notre Dame president, 2003 to 2006, a teacher here at Notre Dame, 3-time Olympian. I can't wait to get to that. And you trained Mandi while she was at Notre Dame, and you are good friends with the Schwartz family. What is this tournament and seeing this? What does it mean to you, Terry?
Well, Mandi was a terrific young lady. A top student, got into the Yale Bulldogs on the team. You don't get into those schools easily. Hardworking young lady, beautiful personality. The whole family was nice. Ryan and Jaden and Rick, God rest them. They've had some suffering in their family, as you all know, and Carol. So they had a nice young family, an athletic family. And I knew her. I didn't teach her. I was involved in administration at that time when in the president's office. But I used to have practices. I used to get up into the rink at 6 in the morning.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to meet the students.
Yeah.
And I'd open it up. I'd get out at 6 in the morning, and she came every morning.
People really want to hear your stories. You got to hold it.
You got to hold it.
Mosh is going to hold it. Okay.
Mosh is going to be the mic holder. Love it.
Okay.
So 6 in the morning.
I get up at 6 in the morning, and she never missed a practice. Jeez. Now she really had touch around the net. Wasn't the greatest skater in the world.
Doesn't matter.
But had a wide stance and good in front of the net, soft hands. We'd play one-on-one. Sometimes it'd be just myself and her in the morning at 6 in the morning. And I do skills with her, a little bit of shooting and things like that. And she was recovering from an injury. That's what she was doing. She had a knee injury, and so she came out at 6 in the morning to get a little more practice and a little more conditioning. And then we play goalposts. You hit the crossbar and goalpost.
Yeah.
And she beat me.
Yeah.
I'd back in and put her a little to the side, and she'd hit the post from just inside the blue line over by the boards, in the face-off circle. So finally I had to, in order to play her, I had to play her tighter.
For real?
Yeah. I had to get, challenge her so she couldn't get her shot away so easily. But she really had touch, really had determination. It was really a sad thing. We went through her demise there, with myeloid leukemia, and has done a wonderful thing. This tournament is named after her.
Yeah.
Back in 2014, I remember reading a story by Brendan Turner, who went to Yale as well and started the foundation for marrow transplant.
Yep.
And they had in 2014, they'd saved 21 lives with marrow transplant through the NHL and through the fan base that he knew in the NHL and the universities. In 2014, they'd saved 21 lives with marrow transplant.
It's amazing what you can do.
Yeah, now she had a transplant, but it was only a 60% match. And it didn't. It held for a little bit, and then it came out of remission, and that was it.
And Sharky, just mention it again that they're here.
It's so cool that Canadian Blood Services is here. They're doing the registration. All you got to do is you got to spend about 5 to 10 minutes with them. They'll register you. They take a swab, so they keep track of that information. And it's especially important if you're 17 to 35. That's a critical time to be involved, and that information is so helpful to families across the world, not just Saskatchewan or North America.
Oh yeah. Her legacy lives on in that. So it's a little bit of good out of adversity there.
That's right.
A real challenge.
It is great, and just to see this tournament and how it's growing and how many teams want to come play in it and all that. It's awesome. I find it fascinating. You played in 3 Olympics.
Yes, if I had better marks in high school, I would have played in 4. I was going to play in the 60 Olympics at Squaw Valley, it was.
Oh, yeah.
My marks were too lousy. I played junior hockey at St. Mike's in Toronto.
Yeah.
And the Bauer family, who I know very well, out of Kitchener-Waterloo, and Father David Bauer was my coach, and he's kind of a legendary character in
big
Canadian
time
hockey. And he was our coach, and he wanted me to go down to Squaw Valley and play, but the principal wouldn't let me go. So
now,
but I played 64, 68, and then they dropped out of international hockey, and then I went over to I went over to Japan for a while and played a little international hockey. Went for 2 and stayed for 7 years. Great experience. And then I came back and I was teaching here, and they had a couple of injuries. A guy named Reinhardt, his son now plays in the NHL.
He's pretty good.
He turned pro, and so they lost a defenseman, and then another guy broke his jaw, a guy named Joe Grant, in the 1980s. So they asked me to come out of retirement and play.
And that was Lake Placid.
That was Lake Placid, yes. So I played in Lake Placid.
64 was in
Innsbruck.
And 68 was in Grenoble, right?
Yes.
Look
at you. Yeah. Well, you were in high school.
A lot of time.
Those were on. Right? So you remember those days.
No, but I was alive, but not in high school.
Okay. Obviously, you guys won bronze in 68.
Yes.
No slouch. Who'd you win or how'd you?
Well, we had to beat out. We were in actually the gold medal game against Russia. And if we'd won, we'd have won the gold. But they really outplayed us that game.
Soviets were good.
Yeah,
what do you remember about Lake Placid? Like, you guys didn't medal there and all that, but it's such a historic time, especially for USA hockey. What do you remember about Lake Placid?
I remember the 93-foot goal that Finland scored against us that knocked us out of the medal round.
Oh no.
We were tied 3-3 towards the end of the second period. We had a power play, and they iced it. And 2 players went, the defenseman was going right at the goalie, and the goalie was looking up, and their forward chased us. They chased him right down, very close, very hot pursuit. And the goalie panicked, and he swung over the puck and missed it. It went right between his legs. It went over the line by about 3/4 of an inch.
Yeah.
And that was the winning goal. We outshot them 17-3 in the third period, but couldn't score.
He doesn't get a Christmas card, does he? Goalie's off the list.
Oh, geez, I felt bad for him. He felt bad.
No. The Soviet Union. What was it? What was it like playing against them back then? Because they were an intimidating power.
Well, they were good. They trained 12 months of a year. I remember they had a guy named Maltsev, who was a pretty good player.
Yeah.
But his first year, he was just 18 years old, and we used to throw him around a little bit like a rag doll. When he first came up, the next year He was like steel. He was just his whole physique.
They figured out to get him in shape, did they?
Oh, they trained him hard, and so they had good teams, and they used the ice well, and they had a number of superstars too. Remember, we played against a guy named Anatoly Firsov, who was a great hockey player. Had a great slap shot, great goal scorer, and we were playing him in Ottawa one time. And this guy got 6 goals by the end of the second period. And so the team benched him because they didn't want him to get a big head.
Yeah, 6 goals was enough.
6 goals was enough. They didn't want to get a big head. But they had great players, Starzhynov and
Did you face Tretiak?
Yes, in 80 I did.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I faced him in 69 too, 68, 69. Yeah,
Was he just lights out good?
He was good. Actually, I scored on him.
Yeah.
There you go.
I scored on him from the blue line.
Suck it, Vladislav.
Yeah. Yeah. One of my very few goals. Scored on Tretiak when he played for Russia.
Oh,
well, you can remember better than Aulie. Aulie can't remember who he scored on.
yeah. Keith Aulie was on earlier.
No recollection.
He's trying to remember.
I got so few. I remember the good ones.
Well, this has been awesome. We appreciate you coming on. I'm sure we could tell stories here all night, and your kind words about Mandi Schwartz and what she meant, and just what this place means.
Yeah, well, it's an interesting Athol Murray. Interesting guy. He I met him in 1963. I know the date exactly. It was November 22nd. Do you know what happened November 22nd?
John F. Kennedy was killed.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we were flying from Winnipeg, or from Calgary, to play the Saskatchewan All-Stars team. And we were so upset because Kennedy had been shot. We were in the Calgary airport. I remember exactly where I was.
Wow.
I was Marshall Johnston, who ended up, he was the manager of, he came in, and I was having a waz in the urinal, the can. It's so clear to my mind that day. And he said, "You realize that Kennedy got shot?" And I said, "No." I said, "Don't bullshit me." And he, it was true. We went into the airport. You know what airports are like. They're busy and they're active. There wasn't a sound in the airport. We had one television by the restaurant, and everyone was crowded around the restaurant watching this be reenacted with John F. Kennedy. So we were flying to Regina that night, and we were playing the All-Stars, and that's when I first met Athol Murray. I didn't know Athol Murray.
Yeah.
He came in, Athol Murray, he had the soul of a saint, but also the mind of a philosopher, but the vocabulary of a dock worker. So he comes into the dressing room, off goes the collar, all the stereotypes you know about Athol Murray, the stains on his shirt. And so you're the Canadian bastard. She says you're going to represent Canada. Well, that got our attention because we didn't know who he was.
Jeez.
And he gave the college, he had a check. Guys had gone around and collected pop cans and all that, and gave Bauer a check for $1,000. We didn't have 2 nickels to rub together. We went out.
Yeah.
We just went out as university students, went out to UBC to train. And so he came into the dressing room, gave us $1,000, and I noticed a tear coming down Father Bauer's cheek at the time. And I said to myself, there must be more to this story than meets the eye. So I made it when I was coming back to come and meet Father Murray. So I did. I came out and met him. And I remember I came out to meet him. And at that time, I'd done my master's in Canadian history up to the thesis. I hadn't done my thesis yet. And he tells me a story, and it's on CBC. Telescope, this whole story. He told me the exact same story that you get on Telescope on CBC, that about his whole life. And I said, Athol Murray, I said, that's a great story. I think I've got to do my thesis. I'll see if I can. I'm doing my thesis. I'm getting my thesis done. I'll see if I can get your story as part of my thesis. You do that? I said, yeah. He said, would you come here to teach? Well, at that time I was playing in Japan. I said, I'm under contract in Japan, but I'd give it consideration. We go out to lunch, okay, at the varsity just over here. And all the teachers are sitting in a row and all the students are behind them. So it's like a T, and no one's paying attention. They're all into, food was at a premium back then. So they were eating their soup and into their bread and whatever they had for lunch. And he goes and introduces me. I wanted to meet you. I want you to meet a great, great Canadian. There was Altamar, he's looking around, who's here? And then he says, and not only that, he says he's going to write the book on Notre Dame and he's going to come here to teach. Well, all the teachers, it was as if someone slapped them on the head. Just in unison, all their heads turned to look up. Who is this guy that's taking our job? Who's coming to Notre Dame?
Yeah.
Well, it turned out it was true. I did all those things. I ended up writing a thesis on the college and coming here to teach.
Amazing.
Back in '78.
Amazing. We got to. We're up against news here. Great stories. Thank you so much for hopping on today and sharing.
Well, it's a great tournament, and a great person is named after. So give that bone marrow. It makes a difference
for sure. Time for a quick break. It is the All New SportsCage live from Wilcox, Saskatchewan on 620 CKRM. Yes, it is Thursday. NFL lives at the Brew House, like we said. Thursday night football. Get in there tonight. Chance to win a trip to an NFL home opener of your choice. $1 off tankards, Bud Light, Budweiser. Details at Canadian Brew House. Also, senior hockey fans out there. Senior Hockey Report coming up tomorrow on the program. Brought to you by CoolBet.co and Future Ford in Melville. If you want to nominate anybody as the senior hockey dangler of the week, basically MVP player, anybody, the kid in Churchbridge got his 80 stitches.
That'd be where I'd go.
Somebody,
kid, he's 35.
Yeah, anyway, guy. Yeah. You got to text in 936-6262, and all you have to text in is dangler, and then you just quickly fill out that form, and you're in to win $100 Canadian Brewhouse gift card tomorrow.
Nice.
Easy.
Can
Easy
I do that?
peasy. You can do that. Nominate Keith Aulie. He scored a goal out this year in the Nautica. We had him on the program earlier. We're live at the Mandi Schwartz Memorial Hockey Tournament in Notre Dame, College of Notre Dame in Wilcox, Saskatchewan. Notre Dame, the host club, 5-3 win over St. Albert earlier. They are back on the ice this evening against Lloydminster at 8:30.
Have you seen the shots on goal in this game?
No.
It's 55-11 for the Edmonton Oilers versus the Yellowhead Chiefs. The Oilers are up 4-1. So the player of the game is definitely the Chiefs goaltender.
Just stopping 51 in 2 periods, not a big deal. Jeez.
Holy smokes.
Defense. Defense. Yeah, no, that's kicking out there. Big crowds, like decent crowd. And this, like you talked about earlier, the scouts.
Lots of scouts.
Tons of scouts.
The smell of popcorn.
Yeah, they're probably going to fire up another batch here right away.
Yeah,
I'm ready to get sucked in. Coming up at Glen Suitor after 5 o'clock. And then at 5:30, we got the pre-recorded two-part interview with Maddox Schultz and his father, Dave Schultz. Maddox Schultz, possible exception player, probable first round, or first overall pick in the WHL Bantam draft this year.
Definitely a first round.
Playing for the Regina Pack Canadians, leading the midget AAA league in scoring as an underager. Great interview. His dad at figure skater. That's it. I just want to tease it a bit. They started as figure skaters now, and it is so hard when you hear this interview for him to not sound braggy, because your kid is so good, and I'm asking him questions, and he does an unbelievable job. Just very humble, just Sasky. He's from Winnipeg originally.
The only thing that you should get out of this, if you're a young guy playing or a young girl playing hockey or a parent, Get your kid in skating lessons. That should be rule one. Whether it's Mr. Schultz, Mrs. Schultz, or somebody else, get some skating lessons because clearly that's a big bonus.
I don't know how it worked. Jokingly here, he tried out for Team Sask first, the top draft eligible kids this year, and he now goes to the Max tournament at Christmas time, so he can't be here for the next camp.
That's right.
So technically he can't play on the team. How would that look for Saskatchewan if probably the best player in 2010 in the country, maybe North America,
is not on Team Sask?
He's born in Medicine Hat.
Oh, really? But he lives here. What do you think? Alberta will try to snag him?
I'm not starting rumors, but I just like to start rumors.
You start rumors. Yeah, you can start him. Yeah, you can start him.
He's got to be on the team. Like I didn't even know how he would.
I know how some of that Sask stuff works from previous life events, but
change the rules. We're changing the rules every day as a society.
That's right.
And Yager and Height, they would probably say, yes, change this rule. Even though we didn't get to take advantage, change the rule because Maddox Schultz needs to be on this hockey team. So that's coming up at 5:30. We're up against news here. Glen Suitor at the other edge. Still a whole lot more live from Notre Dame. It is the All New SportsCage streaming at sportscage.com. Welcome back to the All New SportsCage. Barney Shynkaruk and Sharky. CNC back at the studio. And you know what? We did the clutch performer for next service in the last hour. But clutch performer could go to Curtis and possibly Colson there back, because interviewing Terry O'Malley just moments ago, if you didn't catch it, it was fantastic.
It was fantastic.
And I didn't even notice this on the stream. So if you're not watching us on the stream at sportscage.com on YouTube, like I said, hammer the subscribe button. I guess it went from, we got a message in that they went from Terry talking about having a bathroom break at the Calgary airport to the assassination of JFK.
It did, yes.
And the fellas they were quick to put up the B-roll on the stream of JFK. I don't even know what you guys would have put up. Can you put it up again?
Yeah, what are you showing there?
I got two monitors here. It's kind of hard to keep track. But I don't know what you guys put back there, but good on you. Whatever you did.
Sharp pair.
You guys are on the ball today.
They're on the ball every day.
Colson, when are we wrapping up the bracket? Like SportsCage Ultimate Song Bracket. We had Wham up against Elvis today, and I think I know which way this one was going.
It should have gone
just
to
on
Elvis.
Brand, though. I think on brand awareness is how this one's going to go to Elvis, and then Dolly up against Brian Adams. We had a number of text in votes. I haven't checked the text line in a few minutes here. Those are personals. I don't know if we had any other ones come in. Colson,
the polls on Twitter are done now, but
okay.
I'll take text in votes until after Glen here, so we can wrap up after Glen and get his vote.
Nice touch.
Proper. Yeah, we got Glen Suitor coming up, as per always. Press coverage for Quality Tire, and at 5:30, around 5:30, we're going to have the two-part interview with Maddox Schultz and his dad, Dave Schultz. Text in Dolly and Elvis, Brent and Saskatoon. See, Wham's not getting respect. Roscoe in Kindersley. I could have told you he was going to vote for Elvis, but he voted for Dolly.
Like it. Way to go, Roscoe.
That a boy.
I like it.
Roscoe.
It's a Dolly Elvis thing to me. Yeah, it's where it's got to go. Wham.
Still shot. Still. Say that again. Curtis, if you're going Curtis is speaking in her headsets here in a different language. I have no idea. No hockey, no SJHL tonight. We'll have a full rundown tomorrow. And the power rankings, like I said, sportscage.com if you want to go check them out. Melford's the team to beat, I think, right now. We talked to Benny Walchuk in the SJHL report for Southie Mainline Chrysler, the new king of trucks in Southie Saskatchewan. Worth the drive every time, guaranteed. We'll see how this weekend shapes down. When tomorrow, Cody Mapes coming on to talk about where the Weyburn Red Wings are going to be playing, because their rink is unfortunately down until at least the new year.
Yeah, until at least the new year. And it's not only the main facility there in Weyburn, but their second arena as well is down.
Yes.
They had a tournament a weekend ago, or 9 and unders. They played it outside. They played it on the outdoor rink.
9 and under?
Yeah.
Good on them.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Smart.
Fantastic.
Great idea. No WHL this evening. The Pats host the Blades tomorrow, and then the Teddy Bears fly in the Brandt Center Saturday night. Teddy Bear toss night against the Moose Jaw Warriors. Both of those teams are kind of battling for the basement. They're AAA midget, no games this evening. Last night, if you weren't there, 5-4. Moose Jaw dumps the Pat Canadians. Excellent hockey game. The best $10 entertainment value ticket in the city. Keaton Lesbron's 2 goals for the Warriors. Carson Dykert, 2 goals and 1 assist. And then Jonas Sievertson almost threw my hat on the ice. Hat trick for the Pat C's.
But it was a new one.
In the losing calls. Yeah, I would have got it back. It's not like you're throwing it at an NHL game. When you throw it there, you can go, hey, I didn't kick that back here. You just throw it back.
Yeah, I need that.
Maddox Schultz, who we'll hear from at 5:30, had 2 assists. Moose Jaw's now got the 1-point lead on the Pat Canadians. And people text in all the time. The only sports show that covers stuff like that. The midget AAA, the U18.
I don't know why you wouldn't.
Female AAA going out here, and these are the best teams in the country going on.
By the way, if you're scouting a young goaltender, a female goaltender, she has stopped literally 57 of 62 through 2 periods in 5 minutes.
62 shots.
They've scored 5. They've got 62 shots on her.
We just at the break, we went into the scout room. Mosh, you and I, and we went with the beer sticks and an orange.
Yes.
And I should have grabbed another water, and then I walked in, maybe a little hot, and I said, "Who is scouting that goaltender out there?" A couple of them laughed. The one, and then I said, Scott earlier said, "Anything in here you guys want? Scout room." Help yourselves. And I noticed 4 brand new
twigs,
Bauer Vapor $300 sticks on the wall. And I'm like, that's a nice
one of those.
Best scout room I've ever been into. Mosh. Mosh wants to.
You got to turn me on. We walked in there and the guys eyed us up like, who are these hooligans walking in? Like they own the place. But those twigs look nice. We should probably sneak back in there after.
Yeah, maybe Scott. Maybe that's they're testing everybody.
That could be.
Yeah, we'll see who's smart enough to take them.
Yep, to borrow them. I'm going to bring it back.
Oh, and they have the table set up here. The silent auction, that Jaden Schwartz jersey autographed. They have some brand new sticks.
Yep.
Usable.
A couple other Seattle Kraken treasures.
Yeah. The silent auction here in the lobby. If you're coming to watch any of the female action going on, it's all throughout the weekend. Notre Dame back in action tonight. They're 1-0. They take on Lloydminster tonight at 8:30 at the big shop here, the big ice surface. Milestone also hosting games tomorrow. Battleford and Weyburn got the ever popular 8 a.m. game in Milestone. Yeah.
It's supposed to warm up. If there's any consolation, it's supposed to warm up.
It's still 8 a.m. and this is high level hockey.
Yeah,
it's a place. So you got
you're probably here by 6:30.
Your alarm's going off at 5 something,
and they're staying in the city. So there might even be a 4:30 alarm.
All right, go play some high performance hockey now.
Yeah.
Wow. It's great. Tons of scouts, awesome hockey. Again, we're going to tally up the votes. Wham versus Elvis, Dolly versus Brian Adams. We're going to get that to you. And we are also going to be joined by Glen Suitor. It's the All New SportsCage, streaming at sportscage.com, and as always on 620 CKRM.
The all-new Sports Cage with CFL and Saskatchewan Rough Rider legend Glen Suitor is brought to you by Quality Tire. With 9 locations across Saskatchewan, visit qualitytire.ca.
I guess we're not going to break.
We're not going to break.
That's when I say they're on the ball today.
Yeah. We get an amateur hour.
Drop that ball.
Yeah.
Hey, Glenn.
Those remotes, man. There's lots going on. Lots of moving parts, gentlemen.
Exactly. I feel like I'm doing a remote. Dodge $1,500, $13,000 off. Come down, have a hot dog and some popcorn. How's it going over there? It's cold in Saskatchewan, buddy.
Yeah.
Really
yeah, it's cold. It's getting cold here too. I mean, for our standards, it's in Vancouver. You know, if it drops below 0, it's cold, and because it's wet, it's right to your bones. But the snow is around the corner, I'm sure. You guys probably have had some. And, yeah. Well, how's it going out there in Notre Dame with the Hounds?
You ever been out here? You must have been out here in your time.
Oh, yeah.
Like, what a special place. And I know some people go, all these hockey academies all around and all that, but you see these kids from Pennsylvania, from Quebec, all that. Where are these guys from? Hey, where are you from originally? Yeah. Seattle, Washington. Where are you from? Whereabouts? Fort St. John. Shout out.
Yeah.
Whereabouts in Minnesota? Where's that? In the middle. by probably a lake. There's probably a lake by there, right?
Yeah.
And where are you from, Shooter? Yorkton. Right on. Garlic Belt.
Yeah.
Right
Love
on.
it.
Petaha.
Yeah. Get some shishlicky.
Yeah.
There we
Good
go.
job, boys. What do you guys play? U15 prep. Same age as my son.
There
There. Shout out Regina Pat Blues. There we go, Glen. Live radio. See? Live radio.
Yeah,
See where all the boys are from?
And a live
Fort
audience
St.
for you guys.
Fort St. John to Seattle to Yorkton to Minnesota.
That was pretty cool.
Really good. What's going on in the league? Where do you want to start?
Well, I just thought, we're leaning into Christmas here. We're getting close. Yep. And I think it's an area that we don't talk about enough. I was watching one of the shows on, it was a commercial in the middle of the news about one of the Vancouver Canucks making a visit to the kids hospital here in Vancouver. And it's something that they do a great job with and helping the hospital and stuff like that. And I started to think, I know how much the Canadian Football League and their players really lean into the community. And I went and text Ariel, who is the PR person for the Riders, and you guys know her. And she sent me back just some numbers on what the Saskatchewan Roughriders do in that province with, just in 1 year, for instance, last year, they got to over 30,000 students in every corner of the province to discuss, mental health and wellness and literacy. They've created and raised $1.5 million for amateur football, and over 700. And you think about this for a second. In a year, over 700 community appearances. That's that's charities, that's hospital visits to the kids. And I start thinking about it this time of year because we're all celebrating Christmas, we're all celebrating family, getting everyone together, but there's a lot of people that are really struggling. And there's some kids that are struggling with mental health issues. And I don't think it can be overstated that we don't talk about enough how much the team does and the Riders do to get those guys out there. And I tried to think, guys, why are the Riders so good at it? I mean, their fans give back. Their fans give the team so much that giving back is easy there. And I know that firsthand. You want to do that. You're dying to do it because the fans in a game just raise the level. But it's further than that. It's deeper than that. And because there's other teams that have great fan bases. So why are the Riders so good? The Riders have had the winner of the Jake Gadar Award. You guys know what the Jake Gadar Award is. The Jake Gadar Award is for community service. Jake Gadar was a great commissioner, was in the armed forces. And it's the player that best sort of resembles or has the same characteristics of a man or a woman in the military. And there's a reason that the Riders have won it in 3 straight years. I'm on the committee of the Jake Gadar Award. It's a really important award that I believe in a big way and have been from the beginning. And I know why it is, because they care about it. The team, the PR department, Ariel and the president and Craig and Jeremy, all the guys really believe that they can make a difference in the community with kids growing up. And because of that, they put a ton of detail into the submissions of the candidates that could be a Jake Gadar Award winner. And when we went through them all as a committee, and there are men and women on the armed forces on that committee, the league offices on it, the commissioner, and also the Players Association. And you go through all great applicants, by the way, all great finalists. But at the end of the day, the Riders just kind of continue to be the front runners in this area. So I thought this time of year, I know we have a quick hit because you guys are entertaining a crowd out there, and it's a remote that's going off and having a good time. So I just thought this time of year it's good to just sort of remind everybody that the riders are out there in the community. You get a chance. I hope they're helping a lot of people, young kids that may be struggling. And if you are a young kid that's listening right now that's struggling, talk to someone you trust. Talk to a parent. Talk to an adult that you trust. Maybe a really good friend that can help you with his parents if you don't feel like you can talk to your own parents. So, find that help.
The other thing there, Glenn, is, and it's so hard. We've all known people that have gone through that or are going through that. Like, especially as a kid, you have to be so brave and you have it in you, right? Like, it could be the bravest thing that you do for your life. And a lot of kids are doing it, and it is hard. And, your words resonate, man. Because I see it, I've seen it, my wife sees it. It's really, really good words. Before we let you go, though, on another note with the riders, tomorrow we got Craig Reynolds on, kind of doing a year recap with Reynolds in studio, Dave Thomas and I. And there are a couple of really interesting, just on the heels of the community and the riders, and that we're going to touch on. Riders 50-50 sales in 2024 tops.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah.
And you could probably go to NFL teams because 50-50s aren't that big in the States.
No, they don't seem to move down there.
They don't generate. And the other thing, Glenn, which was, you're going to love this part, and maybe we get about a minute and 20 seconds on this from you. Youth tickets this year up.
Yeah, outstanding. And, I think the new ownership here in Vancouver and other places have really helped to kind of lead in that regard too, to suggest that if the teams and the league and the players take care of the young people, the kids, I've often said that Disney has never sold me anything to do with Buzz Lightyear, but my son does. And my son was 8 years old. He said, "Dad, I want to go to McDonald's to have a Buzz Lightyear or wherever," right? And they sell the parent. So if you take care of the kids, expose them to the game, also be there to support them with this mental health and being in the community with their heroes out there. And they know, guys, that these hockey players that you're talking about right now in on this show, the football players, we have self-doubt too. We all have had times of depression, and you're not alone. You're not alone. So talk to somebody you trust. If you're feeling bad or you don't feel right, talk to somebody you trust. And like you said, Barney, that courage, dig down deep. You can do it, and it'll change your life for the better. And the players are out there doing it too. So yeah, hey, the kids are getting back involved in football, and it's great because it transcends the game. It really does. It teaches life lessons.
I'm gonna turn this way. Notre Dame football hat.
Yes,
Notre Dame Hounds football hat. Unique. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Okay, thanks so much, Glenn. Yeah, we are up. We got Maddox, Schultz, and his dad coming on later. Appreciate it, and we'll chat with you next week, buddy.
Okay, thank you, guys.
Cheers.
See ya. Glen Suitor, press coverage for Quality Tire, 9 locations across Saskatchewan.
Can I give the update over here?
This is listen to this.
So we're in the third period of this game. It is 5-1 Oilers over the Yellowhead Chiefs. So a team out of Edmonton versus a team out of Manitoba. Shots for the Oilers are 74-14. They've only let in 5. She has stopped 69.
I don't know if both goalies have been in, but it's right now is Claire Merskick. Yeah. Merskick for Yellowhead, and then the other goalie is Gracie Johnson. Well, I don't know if they split duties today. 74 shots. We want to place a bet on where it ends?
Oh, it's got to be over 80. Right?
They need 6 more shots in their 6 minutes, and they're at 74. Wow, you're going out on a limb.
I am.
It's going to be over 80.
After what Arash has given me for bets lately and the money I've lost, I got to be more conservative.
We got to go to break after this. All New SportsCage streaming live from Wilcox, Saskatchewan. The boys are keeping us in suspense on who won.
They're not telling us.
Yeah.
Colson won't give that up.
Playing it close to his chest vest region. It's been a pleasure. We're going to go to the interviews momentarily here, unless we get the update on the bracket.
I got the update right here.
And Maddox. So Colson, just jump in, buddy. You're the commissioner.
You got it.
Yeah.
Jump in.
All right. So Hard Candy beat Reggae, 57% of the vote. On Twitter, Last Christmas beat out Blue Christmas, but the mail-ins saved Blue Christmas, taking it over last with 51%.
Oh,
Nice.
man. That disappoints me.
No, that's fantastic.
It's a long drive home for me. Wham, lost. I'm going to play it the whole way home. You're driving with me.
Oh.
Yeah. Thanks,
You
buddy.
got room for me?
It's been fun live here in Wilcox. Thanks to Dave and Scott from Notre Dame for hosting us. Absolutely love it here. We'll be back. Huge tournament all weekend. Come and watch female hockey. The biggest, the
Here
biggest,
and Milestone.
Here and Milestone, biggest tournament in Canada. And it's all for a great remembering a great lady in Mandi Schwartz.
And if you get a chance,
yes,
register with the Canadian Blood Services. Get the swab done. Get registered as a stem cell donor, and get yourself on the registry. It's important. You never know whose life you can save.
If you're between the ages of 17 and 35, it takes 10 minutes. You said, right?
Yep.
Awesome stuff. Thanks so much. We're going to play both of those interviews 2-part, and back tomorrow, Dave Thomas. We have, like I said, Craig Reynolds. Good job, Mosh.
Yeah.
Today. And
Mosh saved today.
Come out here and watch some hockey. Nice 50-50, little silent auction over there.
Some popcorn.
And the interview's coming up after the break. Interview time. Interesting one. Very interesting here. We got Dave Schultz and Maddox Schultz. And if you haven't heard the name Maddox Schultz in the hockey world, especially around Saskatchewan, then you've probably been away for a long time. This is going to be really cool. I want to start with, first off, guys, thanks so much for making some time to come down here.
Yeah, thanks for having us. Thank you.
Okay, Dave, let's scooch that just a little bit closer there.
Sure.
Let's go to the story of Dave Schultz, right? My kids are going through the power skating and your skating schools. You're a Winnipeg guy. Now you're in Regina. But hockey really until about 13?
Yeah, I played until I was 13. So my parents put me in figure skating as a young kid. They just said, you better be able to skate. So that's how I started. And my figure skating coach was my power skating coach. And she said, hey, listen, we can give you a little bit of extra edge work. So then I was still playing all the way up till Pee Wee at that age. It was Pee Wee when I was 13. And at the end of that last year, figure skating was starting to get more interesting. I was getting better at it. And I liked the challenge. So I got heavier into that.
Because I remember, I'm a 77 birthday. So I remember there was that power skating push, right? And it was a lot different than what our kids learn nowadays. So when you go back to the older days of power skating, how much has it changed to now?
Yeah, well, it was almost like goal line to goal line, over and over and over again. It couldn't have been more dry. And I mean, sometimes you still kind of see that out there, but I think right now guys have to be better. They have to be faster and they have to be more dynamic. And more than anything, your edges they're key. And so my figure skating coach teaching me that, I was obviously a better skater than most. I have hands of steel. I still do. Anybody I've ever coached with, they'll validate that. Can't shoot the puck worth hell. But I could skate. That was my strength. And that's what allowed me to play.
How good of a figure skater were you?
I was okay. I competed internationally one year, and I went to nationals 7 times, but I wasn't. I competed against the best in Canada, who at that time were the best in the world, but I wasn't one of them. No.
Who are some of the people you would have competed against?
Yeah, I competed against Elvis Stoico, so he's kind of a legend, right? And I took some lessons from Brian Orser when he first started coaching, and a bunch of other big names. And then Jeff Buttle and I, we went to our first international together. And I remember a few years later, I was sitting at home in between my wife and I. We ended up working on cruise ships as skaters in the show, and I was sitting there watching him compete at the Olympics while I was having breakfast with my mom in Winnipeg in the middle of February. So I never amounted to as much as I think I would have wanted to become as an athlete. But in saying that, I think you learn to grind. I think you learn, for those that aren't necessarily the most talented or don't have the best access, how to put some things in front of them, because that's what it was for me.
So the story goes, right, is your wife, Maddox, your mom, Vicky, is in figure skating as well, and that's kind of the tie. Is that how you guys met?
Yeah, we met in Edmonton. There was a pretty good training center, the Royal Glenora Club, so we both moved there at different times, didn't know each other, but we had the same coach. And him and his family took me in because I had nowhere else to be, so it was awesome. So real close. He ended up being the best man at our wedding. It was a really good situation, and we both trained there at the Glenora in kind of one of their heydays. Like, they were real good, like athletes everywhere, and it was a good situation for us.
She's from Central Butte.
Yeah.
So at what point do you start trying? And do they ask you to play a little senior hockey at some point?
Yeah. Well, I mean, her oldest brother, Dallas, I think he was on the team at one point. Then he was a coach at one point. I don't know, he was a manager at one point. They're all over Central Butte, all of her brothers, her family. So, yeah, we used to go in between breaks. When we were touring, we would go and watch. And yeah, I remember like just being in the vehicle on a cold day on our way to Avonlea going, what are we doing for this? But then you get there and it's such an environment. It was awesome. So we had some pretty good times following Dallas and the Central Butte Flyers around.
When it comes to skating and hockey, in your mind, who would have the perfect stride?
Yeah, well, the stride's like, I mean, that's kind of a buzz thing. Everybody's like, well, he's got a long stride or his feet are too wide or what have you. I mean, you look at people with power. My favorite player to watch ever would be Paul Coffey. He was like, he used to come out of that zone, and sometimes he'd cross over in front, sometimes he'd cross behind, and he was just able to get so much acceleration. And he used to wear skates way smaller.
That's a true story.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So I watched him glide effortlessly across the ice. I mean, he'd be someone I'd love to watch. Now, I mean, today's generation, we're watching McKinnon, we're watching McCarr. Quinn Hughes is unbelievable on his edges, and a lot of the stuff I do, and your kids would know because, and Maddox ad nauseum, sadly, I'm out there just repeating it. Even today I was on with the Catholic school system, and we were working on a drill on a punch turn, and I just kept bringing up like, well, this is how McCarr did it to Doc not long ago, right? If you hit YouTube, you're going to see it. It's right there. And so I get into it in a big way, but if I had to break someone down as I want to watch someone skate for pure power, probably Mike Gartner, unbelievable. And then in terms of edges and finesse and being able to move on the ice, I'd watch Paul Coffey all day.
So when Maddox starts skating or gets old enough to go out on the ice, how old was he? And was it hockey first or figure skating first?
Well,
or just skating?
You know what it was? It was tears first, really. Like,
okay.
Well, you hadn't turned 3 yet. And we were, I mean, so Vicky and I, we work in the rink. So that's a thing that we need them to love it, or we hope that they love it, because that's how we're going to spend time with them during the day. So we were living in Medicine Hat. That's where Maddox was born. Maddox and his sister Sydney, and we were teaching a program we called Kids Skate, and it was in the afternoon, and he was not quite 3, and he's out there and he's got his helmet on and he's just kind of walking and a couple of falls, and it was a half-hour session, and I just said to him, like, if you make it through, buddy, we're going to go for hot chocolate. It's going to be awesome. So we made skating that day and for the next few months like a destination, right? And it was going to have a bunch of stops on the way. We were going for hot chocolate. They had toys at a little cafe we'd sit at, and then later on we get ice cream on the way home, and we just made it a thing. Did he love it right away? I'd probably say no. Yeah. It was 30 minutes was a lot for 2.5 and no, I mean, there's structure out there, but when you can't move around so quickly, you just feel like you're in the middle of the ice by yourself.
What advice do you give to parents now on, okay, I want to get my kids on the ice, and what age do you think is?
Well, I wouldn't change it though. I thought it was awesome. Like three is probably right. They have to be able to take instruction and be away from mom and dad. And if they're comfortable with that, then let's go. I put them in stiff skates when they're little, something that gives them a ton of support, and then have them walk around at home. So if you've got guards or carpet, just get comfortable with it. Let them fall down, get up. The more they're comfortable, because the skates are stiff and they're different than their shoes. So that's already a variable that kids aren't necessarily comfortable with. So the more you can remove that and get them comfortable, the more likely they're going to have a good experience. Make sure they're warm. Make sure they've peed, right? Hit the bathroom before you get out there. It's a coach's worst nightmare trying to carry kids off. And then just make it something fun. It should be a fun time for them. Okay,
so we've heard Dad's side of it. Maddox, what do you remember from when you first started skating?
Yeah, it was in Medicine Hat, and just remember being on the ice with my little helmet on and just ripping around out there. Probably not at the start ripping around, but once I got going, I felt good, and kept going from there. And I remember a little bit older, I was in my Red Canada jersey ripping around on the same ice, and we moved to Regina when I was just when I turned 5, I think, right?
Yeah.
When I turned 5?
Yeah.
Yeah. And, nothing changed from there. It was the same in Regina, and, it's carried through.
You figure skate until what age?
I think it was 8. 8. Yeah.
Yeah, 8.
And so at this point, you're figure skating and playing hockey, or?
Yeah, both.
Yeah, we might be using figure skating strong, right? I think he went to one competition, and it was just because we were going there with our daughter, Sydney, anyways. He liked being out there. I think you like the competitiveness, and then that he's in charge. And the sport of figure skating, it's just you, right? You don't have a team that can carry you, and it's like, so, and then, I mean, you're an athlete, so he liked jumping. So that part took to him right away. But he had no interest in going to competition, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately for my wife and I, we were kind of hoping he'd be around a little bit more.
What other sports Dad talked about you being an athlete. What other sports did you play and did you like when you were younger?
Yeah, when I was young, I played soccer and baseball, and now I just golf lots. And in the summer, golfing has become one of my hobbies, and I do it lots with my friends. And I've taken it a little bit more competitive with my friends now. I'm not so fun anymore. But yeah, it's just it's something to get away from hockey in the summer, and I've enjoyed it so far, and yeah.
Okay, we'll take a quick break. That was segment 1 or part 1 of that interview. We're going to have part 2 right after this. We're going to pay some bills. Time for some commercials. It's the All New SportsCage. If you're watching, thank you very much on that stream, sportscage.com. Hammer the subscribe and like button on YouTube. We'd like to get to 1,000 before Christmas, Curtis is saying. And as always, on the home of sports in Saskatchewan, 620 CKRM. Welcome back to the All New SportsCage. It is part 2 of our interview with the phenom from Regina, Maddox Schultz, and his father, Dave Schultz. Here we go. I heard the story that you were like, yeah, no, I'm not going to get tired going water sliding because we got a big game coming up.
I guess so. Like at tournaments, if there's a water slide or a pool at the hotel, I don't think I would go in the pool unless it was after the tournament. Just because I heard a rumor. My dad always told me that if you went in the pool, that your legs would get really noodly, and I tried it once, and it's true. So, I kind of stayed out of the pool before.
What do you remember about that? Like at what age? Because that takes a lot of maturity.
Yeah, we always said this, and I think my wife and I work in performance sports, so you're aware of like how important being hydrated is, how important being fueled properly. But then you go beat the crap out of your body in the pool the night before, and having at that time we had 8 a.m. games. So kids are like glossy-eyed and just struggling to get themselves up and down the ice. And mom and dad want to know why they don't have more ice time. And everybody's exhausted. And I think we just explained to Maddox, like, you can do that. Of course you can. But it's going to affect how you play. And how you play seems to affect how you feel about the day. So we've just tried to put information in front of them. And then ultimately when you're a kid, you decide. But your parents guide you. So that was always us. But what we did, and our junior Pats team did a really good job of this. We talked to the parents and the kids. We said, listen, throughout this year, and if you want to go, no problem. But most of us probably won't. But at the end of the year, our wrap up, we're going to hit the Ramada, and we're going to water slide for 4 hours and get it all out. Coaches are going to be out there too, and it was a day. So we kind of made the most of it that way.
I know there's a big story made out of Bedard saying he'd never eaten McDonald's or fast food. How early did you kind of hone in on, that kind of thing, or watching what you eat and diet and all of that?
That's a good question. I think, Bedard, I think that might be a rumor, but from a young age, you still got to have fun and be a kid. Not having cheeseburgers before a game, obviously, but the odd time, you gotta be fun and be a kid. And, I think in terms of diet, I wouldn't say I have a diet right now or anything, but, I watch what I eat and I try to eat healthy, and I think I've been doing a good job of that.
What would that consist of these days?
Like before a game, I'd have a salad with chicken, get my protein in, just being healthy all around.
Yeah, my wife Vicky, she she's pretty. We've benefited from being around sports nutritionists, right? So they put stuff in front of you, and you go, these are the things that are going to affect performance. This is what you need for a sport like hockey, and we ask the questions, and then we give him the information, and then he makes a decision. So there is enough out there that if you wanted to and you're interested in it, eating properly before sport now more than ever, information's out there.
We live around the corner from, I guess your line mate, your teammate still, in Sirkin. And it seems you can always go by that house and hear him in the garage shooting pucks. And were you like, are you the shooting pucks, and have you been as a kid always shooting pucks? Were you like on rollerblades or?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. When I was little, I'm on rollerblades, like you said, or shooting pucks. Maybe even have the little ball hockey stick and then the ball shooting in the garage. Even some mini sticks, just trying to work on the little intricate mechanics. But he's always shooting pucks. He's always trying to get better, and he's someone I look up to. It might not seem like it, but he works so hard. And
I think it's funny that you didn't elaborate on how you wrecked most of the house with shooting in the garage.
Yeah, so I'll elaborate on that. So
why don't you start with our neighbor's Subaru?
Yeah, so I was on the driveway one time, and shooting pucks, and we didn't have like the how these days they have like the nets above the net.
Sure do, yeah.
Yeah, so I didn't have that, and I was shooting, blew one over the net onto the other driveway, hits the Subaru. I think it was the mirror.
No, it was the gas.
The gas.
Yeah, that was a quick $1,000 touch there. Yeah.
Dad bought a net the next day?
No, Dad moved me in the garage the next day.
Okay.
And obviously silly me, I put particle board behind.
Yeah.
Our garage is unfinished, so behind the net, he blew a hole through the net, blew a hole through the particle board, hit the sheathing, shook the stucco. We had a shed there on the other side, so I moved the shed to kind of clean out that spring. And I just got powder all over the place. I got an exposed house. So that was another $1,000 touch. And then we've got glass in our garage door.
Yeah.
That's in the process of getting repaired. So yeah.
Currently.
Oh yeah. Oh, how often do you shoot in the garage? Right?
Yeah, all the time.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So one time I was shooting, and I took a funny hop off the crossbar, bounced a couple times, and then shattered the glass. And
Yeah.
I called my dad right after, and I was like, "Sorry, Dad." But I think it's one of those things that happen, and you just gotta kind of figure it out. And I think I did a good job of that.
Who do you remember watching when you were younger, maybe growing up? Maybe it was going to Pat's games or whatever. Who did you kind of watch or idolize growing up?
Yeah, so when we moved to Regina, I went to a lot of Pat's games, and even in Medicine Hat, I went to a lot of Hat games. And, obviously Connor Bedard playing with the Pats, we won a lot of the games with our team. And, even Sam Steele when he was here, and Connor Hobbs and all those guys, they were fun to watch, and I think the Pats had a good team back then, and it was super fun watching Bedard too. And in the NHL, when I was little, I looked up to everyone, but especially Connor McDavid. I got posters on my wall of McDavid and everything, but just remember watching him, and things he could do out there were unbelievable. Mm-hmm. So it was super fun watching him when I was young.
First to you, and then you can go here, but at what age do you start, people I'm sure talking to you, and did you say, okay, well, Maddox gonna have to play up a division? Was that Pee Wee, and then how did that process go?
No, it was earlier than that. So he's benefited a lot from being around some really great. We have so many good coaches in our community, and people whom we've looked up to. And I would put Dale Durkach and Chad Molesky and Rob Montaigne, Ryan Pollock, but also Dave Struch and Brad Harif. Like they all seem to have kids at the same age. Like, how lucky am I, first as a parent and a coach, and then for him as an athlete, to have these influential people around. And I remember we went to a tournament. It was a second-year novice. And Strucci called me, and he said, like the score was, it was silly, right? It gets a little bit, it's weird to talk about, and he called me the next day. He's like, you got to get him out of this league. He can't play here. It's not good for him. It's not good for anybody. And so I listened to Dave, and I called Hockey Sask, and I was like, I think, this is the information I've got. John Paddock had said something similar. You got to find a way to move them, and they said, well, it doesn't matter at this age, and I think they're right, it didn't. And but then when we got through a little bit as a second year Adam, or going into his second year Adam, he'd had a really good first year, so we thought maybe we could move him. And I think Hockey Regina was open to it, but they had gone through a shift with their president, and I appreciated that they said to me, look, we don't have a policy and we can't make decisions based on one kid here and there. And working with boards and working with a provincial sport organization in SAS Sport, I get it. I understand.
Yeah.
But then they created a mechanism and they called it the age advancement, which I appreciate it's that and not called exceptional status for what would be an 11-year-old kid back then.
Yeah.
So they created one for Pee Wee. He didn't get to take advantage of it, but he was able to do it in Bantam. It started a long time ago. Every year, Maddox was fortunate to play as an underage kid on the brick. So that was in 2019. And I mean, I know there were kids that maybe were offered a spot that didn't go, and maybe he benefited from that, but it ended up being a good experience for him and a really good experience for us as a family to go, okay, we better make sure we're educating ourselves and supporting him, because new things are going to come his way that don't come that way normally when you're 9.
What do you remember about, the first time you played up and
I think it was that brick tournament. It was I just went to the tryout because I was playing on the junior Pats that year and just had to get some more ice time, and I think we just signed up and I think I played well in the tryout, I guess, and I got offered the spot on the team, and I just remember going to that tournament. Super fun. Obviously Lennon DuPont, playing on Team Brick Alberta, led the tournament scoring or whatever, and then they lost in the final, but actually went to the water slides there after the tournament.
After you're done.
Yeah, after we were done. We didn't do so well, but I just remember it being such a fun experience, and was fortunate we got to go back next year.
Last year, I watched he's getting called up to the Pat C's, right? As a what were you, 2nd year Pee Wee?
Yeah, so you're 13.
Second,
yeah.
It was, and you went out and you were physical, and it was awesome. So, is there a time that what was the most nervous you've been so far to play a game?
Actually, yeah, what you said, it was probably that U18 game. I remember it was the night before, and there was some talk about it that I might be able to AP, and Coach Ryan Hodgins called me that night and the night before and just asked me if I wanted to play a game, and I was super hyped up and ready to go, and I was like, let's go. I probably couldn't fall asleep that night, to be honest, and just waking up, eating breakfast, doing everything I can to perform, and I went out there and I scored a goal, which is pretty cool. And but before warm-ups, I was probably the most nervous. The boys are chirping me, "Come on, Schultz, don't miss it out on your rookie lap."
Oh, your rookie lap.
My rookie lap. I actually missed the net on my rookie lap, which kind of sucks, but I scored, and I was it was pretty cool.
How nervous were you guys for that one?
Well, but that was a process, because Hockey Regina allowed him to practice, but you had to apply to play. So, and it's different than what this year was. It was you needed to ask for an exception. So there was quite a bit of paperwork, and as you're going through paperwork and you're having people write letters, you're asking a lot of the community, and you always stop and think every time, is this right? Does this make sense? Am I doing the right thing? But we saw him in Bantam as a second-year player, but a first-year age, and we're like, no, he's going after big guys. He seems comfortable. I trust Ryan to put him in a situation to set him up for success, and he had 6 or 7 weeks of practice. We won the Graham Tour. He had a good tournament. All the stars were kind of aligning, and then Hockey Sask has a committee. They meet. They get back to us on, it would have been a Wednesday or a Thursday, and he's playing Friday night, and I'm in Winnipeg. I'm at a skating event in Winnipeg. So he gets the call, and then I find out, and I'm not going to be there. Happy to be at the skating event, miserable to miss his first game. I was so nervous, also not being in the rink. You just want to talk to him, be like, hey, keep your head up. Right?
And eventually, I think he eventually gave me a call and was like, just make sure you play your game and keep your head up out there.
Guys might want to take a run but in saying that, I thought, we played PA that night, and I didn't see anybody go after him. We have such quality people in our province. And your goal was nice, but Casey Brown makes this unbelievable dish, right? So as much as we want to talk about how
and
that was a beauty,
he goes and
gets some puck. But that's what that group of people and that community, our community is. They just supported it. So but you did throw a couple of hits, and maybe that was guys like taking it easy on you, and you saw an opportunity. But for Vicky and I, we were so nervous, and I'm on the phone with, like, I mean, as much as I love my wife, I can't get a game update from her because she loves everybody. Yeah, they were good. Everybody was doing great out there. And I'm like, I'm like, thanks, honey. Yeah, I gotta go. I got another guy calling me, and it's another one. One of our peers, our coach, is like, all right, it was good on the forecheck, lost his guy in the zone or whatever it was, and it was. Those are the details I wanted. But thankfully, it was a good experience.
That was it. You can listen to that whole interview. We're going to have it posted in podcast form. Also, the Monday Nooner had it posted today. You can go listen to the full interview there. Thanks so much to 14-year-old crazy Maddox Schultz and his dad, Dave. Very interested to see what the future holds for this kid, as I'm sure a lot of you are. Again, full interview. You can go sportscage.com onto our YouTube channel and everything, and then or to the Monday Nooner. Tomorrow, we have Craig Reynolds coming up on the show. Saskatchewan Roughriders in studio. Dave Thomas and I will be here. We'll have an update on the Weyburn Red Wings as they have to play some neutral site games, as their arena is down again. Unfortunate there. Farhan Lalji will join us, and the Senior Hockey Report. So we will see you tomorrow. Thanks so much for everyone that was watching that stream, sportscage.com, and thanks for tuning in on 620 CKRM.